I've been playing video games since I was 0 years old. My first video games that I can actually remember were Mario Kart 64 and Pokemon Red and Blue. In fact, the only reason I even learned how to read was so that I could actually understand my Pokemon games. I did also used to coach some Paladins and Overwatch teams along with some other miscellaneous stuff. And I did actually meet my previous long-term partner of 7 years playing Uncharted 3. So I guess you could say that gaming is pretty ingrained into every aspect of my life. So just for some fun and to see how my opinions change over time, I thought it would be fun to go through some of the classic and best gaming titles out there and I guess talk about them. Well, I guess we will jump straight into our top 500 plus video games of all time. Because I have played quite a few games in my time, I will not lie. And today we have this magnificent little tier list here. And, you know, I love triggering people with their favorite video games and stuff like that. So this is perfect. This is perfect. We can go through video games from like, I don't know, the 1990s up to 2024. And we can take a look at some of the games I've played, some that I haven't, and some that I would probably suggest if you have not already played them. And I don't think there's going to be any mobile games on this list for obvious reasons, because mobile games aren't very good. But we shall see what is on this list. This was not originally created by me. I did add a couple on there, and there will be some bait picks. So keep your eyes out for that. But we have this tier list here, and we have everything from Masterpiece down going... So from top to bottom, we've got Masterpiece, Incredible, Good, Decent, Bad, Terrible... Haven't played but I'd like to, and then haven't played and I don't want to, which means that that's a game that I guess you're just never going to do on principle for whatever reason. Generally speaking, I'd play pretty much anything, but it does depend on a couple of factors, so we'll see if any end up going into that category, or maybe I'll just put any in there that I've not really got much of an interest. But I'd definitely like to see other people's thoughts on this for anyone that, you know, has been playing video games for as long as I have, like 26 years. So I guess what we will do, we will go from the very first set that we've got here. And this is going to be a list that is going to go from oldest to newest from what I can gather. So we're probably going to get quite a few games to start with, which honestly I'm not going to have played because they are a little bit too old for my start, I guess you could say. But that being said, the very first game that we've got here is Super Mario Bros. 3, and I have to say I did have a lot of fun with that game. All of the Super Mario games, even from way back then, I think that they were very, very good. I wouldn't say that they were incredible by today's standards, but I'm going to pop here in good. We've got Monkey Island, which honestly I've not played, and I don't really have much interest in it at this point. Way back when, I did quite a few years ago. But Monkey Island, I'm just going to put I don't want to, but that's not because I hate the franchise or anything. Street Fighter 2. I'm going to make a judgment on this based on today's standards. I think it definitely holds up. So I'm going to pop that one in good. But, you know, it's been quite a few years. We've got tons of Street Fighter games since then. Street Fighter games have never really struck out to me too much. Like, they're not something I've ever super cared about, but I did used to play Street Fighter 2 and some of the oldies way back when. Then Super Mario World, I'm also going to pop that one in good. Of course, we've got lovely little Yoshi there. I don't think there's really much else to be said. Legend of Zelda, believe it or not, I've played thousands of games, and the Zelda ones, the only one I actually played was Ocarina of Time, and I did not like it. So enjoy that one. So for this one, I'm not going to put that I don't want to play it, because I actually kind of do want to play all of the Zelda games, including Breath of the Wild at some point, and, you know, maybe let's change things, because I'm quite judgmental, I think, after playing Ocarina of Time. I was promised a masterpiece, and that's not what I was given at the time, or maybe I was in a bad mood, but I'm going to pop that one in. I'd like to, and probably for any of the other Zelda games if they come up on this list. Wolfenstein. I did not play Wolfenstein either, and that one I'm going to pop in. I'd like to. Streets of Rage, I did not play, but I would be interested in playing it. And again, for the Zelda games, I'm going to pop them in. I'd like to. Doom. I did play OG Doom, and it was okay. It was okay. I'm going to leave that one there rather than say too much more before I absolutely trigger the pants off some people. I think the remake was probably more of my sort of era. But Super Metroid, I did play the Super Metroid games. I don't think they're bad, but they were not favorites of mine. So they're also going in decent. Again, Doom 2, I actually didn't play, so I'm going to pop that one here. Donkey Kong Country, that was a classic game. And I'm also going to pop that one in good. I think that was a very, very good classic. Tekken, I also thought was quite a good game back then. I'm also going to pop that one in good. It's pretty much similar to Street Fighter for me. You know, they're obviously quite similar in a lot of ways, but I did love my bro. I'll always love him. Anyway, Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. You know what? I actually really liked Yoshi's Island for obvious reasons. Yoshi, of course. So, yeah, I'm actually going to put that one in incredible, which, if we're going by today's standards, no, it would not go up there, but I am putting some nostalgia bait in here as well, I will be honest. World of Warcraft, The Tides of Darkness. I actually did not play this, and I don't have a lot of interest at this point to go back to it because of current WoW. I'm just going to leave that one there. Nuke Nukem 3D. Okay. I remember when this came out. I was one of the people that had been waiting for this game to release for a long time, and I believe my father was as well. I actually played it, and you know what? I had a decent time with it. I thought that beyond the cringe and the bugs and everything else, after that much build-up, yeah, it was disappointing. But it was actually kind of interesting. So I'm going to pop Duke Nukem 3D in there. I'm talking about the New Age game, of course, but I'm going to pop it in decent for now. So, next one we've got is Civ 2. I'll be honest, I did not play the old one. I'm going to pop that in there. Original Resident Evil, did not play that. Quake. Okay, I did play Quake, and I did not play enough of Quake. But I will say that at the time, I did think it was decent overall, but I don't think I gave it enough time, and I was busy with other games. So that one is not an overall judgment. I guess you could say it's a preemptive judgment on Quake, and maybe I'll go back to it one day, but I'm going to leave that one there. Crash Bandicoot. Man, I love Crash. I absolutely love Crash. Naughty Dog. Oh, and then they went all the way up to make the Uncharted games. Fantastic. I absolutely adore that company. Super Mario 64, I'm also going to put down as an incredible game. I think I remember this because I've actually got this downstairs, and I ended up borrowing my sister's Super Mario 64, and I think I just never gave it back, unless she took it from us, and then we ended up taking it back from her. But Super Mario 64 is just one of those classic games. It set a bar that wasn't really there before for gaming. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece because I cannot put it in there while some of the games of today exist. I guess you could say that there is a little bit of dating that's happened, and I don't glaze it quite as much as other people. But I will indeed keep it in incredible for now because it does have some really good memories, and I love the penguins, of course. Now, original Tomb Raider. I didn't actually play this one, and I don't really have much interest. Original Diablo, I'm going to be honest, it's the same. Final Fantasy, I've actually only just started playing the Final Fantasy games, so I'm going to pop these in haven't played, but I'd like to. Because what is that? 7, Final Fantasy 7. So any of those are going there. Castlevania, I did play way back when. I didn't play too much of it, but I am going to say that overall is pretty decent. So a little bit more than decent, but not the best thing I've ever played in my life. GoldenEye 007. This one was also a cult classic. I can't say it was my favorite game of all time. I'm going to pop this one in good, but it's not my favorite. Now, we've got Crash 2. Crash 2 is also going on incredible. I'm sorry, the Crash games I do glaze a little bit, I'll be honest. Monkey Island, I have not played, and I don't really have much interest in it right now. Resident Evil 2, I also didn't play. StarCraft. Now, StarCraft I did play, but I did not play anywhere near enough. So rather than giving that one a rating, I'm going to pop this one in I don't want to, because if I was going to go back to StarCraft, I'd go to StarCraft 2 instead. Tekken 3. I don't think I actually did play Tekken 3, to be honest with you. So because we've got the new Tekkens, that's the reason I'm going to pop that one there as well. Banjo-Kazooie. I did end up playing this one a few years afterwards, and I'm going to pop him in good. I'd say that maybe I played it a little bit too late for its time, so that's why it didn't stick with me as much as some of the other games would have, but, you know, still a good cult classic. Soul Calibur, I never played, but I'm actually going to pop that one in one that I could play. Metal Gear, I actually do want to play the Metal Gear games. I've been planning on it, so that one's definitely going in there. Pokemon Red and Blue. Now, Pokemon games are my heart and soul. They're actually the start of this channel and everything. I've always had Pokemon in the back of my mind. Pokemon Red and Blue, I don't actually like that much as Pokemon games, believe it or not. Even though I've played them probably about 30 times overall, I'm not going to put them as just decent because they did leave such a lasting memory on me, and they're actually the only reason I've learned how to read. So I'm going to pop them in good, but I don't think that they are incredible. Definitely not. And it's good mainly just because of all the creatures cast, you know, the actual Pokemon themselves rather than the game itself, because for all intents and purposes, they're not really fantastic by today's standards, so that's why I'm popping them there. Grim Fandango, I did not play, and I don't really have any plans to. Crash Bandicoot Warped. Oh, I actually did love this game, I'll be honest, so that one's also going in incredible. Sorry, the glaze is there. Half-Life, I actually did not play. I would be interested in it one day, but that is going to go there. And now we get to the contentious bait. Zelda Ocarina of Time. I did mention this before. I'm actually going to put this one in bad. The reason for that being that I did try and play this game. I remember I downloaded it on the Wii. I tried to give it a real try. I could not stand it. Now, that doesn't mean that I would not go back and try it again all these years later. But I really did not enjoy my time with Ocarina of Time. It's not like the puzzles were too complicated. Yeah, Water Temple, right? We all know about Water Temple. But it did not stick with me. Maybe it's because I'd already played Star Fox Adventures and then going to Ocarina of Time, which is kind of what Star Fox Adventures was based on. I did not like it. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, moving on. Thief. I don't really have any plans to play that one, and I have not played original Baldur's Gate. No, never played that one. Alpha Centauri, did not play. Pokemon Snap. Oh, my God. You know, I really want to put this in Masterpiece because it genuinely does stick as, like, one of my absolute favorites. The Charmander song that plays during one of those scenes, it used to have me in tears as a kid, genuinely. But I know that that would be glazing it a little bit too much, so I'm going to pop that in incredible. And when Pokemon Snap 2 released, genuinely, I absolutely adored it. Yes, it is basic. Yes, it is not too complicated. Yes, they are not very long games, but it really, really was a fantastic game. And I would love more games like that going forward. Resident Evil 3, I actually did not play, and I don't really have any plans to go back. Homeworld, I did not play. Crash Team Racing. I played this quite a lot. It was a good game. I don't think I could put it as incredible, but it was definitely a good experience. I really enjoyed that one. Rayman 2, The Great Escape. The Rayman games I did actually enjoy quite a bit. I'm also going to pop that in good. Medal of Honor. I do remember Medal of Honor. I used to play that at my cousin's house quite a bit. And I used to watch quite a lot of gameplay of Medal of Honor. You know what? I actually did used to enjoy Medal of Honor quite a bit. I would put that in good. I don't think they stuck out as not my favorite games of all time, but I did definitely enjoy them. Donkey Kong 64. I'm also going to put that in good, along with Donkey Kong Country. There's not really too much else to say, but I do love the Donkey Kong franchise. Donkey Konga being my favorite, just saying. Now we've got Unreal Tournament. I did not play Unreal. I'm going to pop that in there for now. The original Sims, I didn't play, and because we've got all the other Sims, I'm not going to go into that. Perfect Dark, I did not play. Deus Ex, I actually haven't played, but I do plan to play it at some point. Diablo 2, I don't plan to play. Final Fantasy, I do plan to play. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Did I play number 2? Yes, I think I did before I played Skate, but it didn't really stick out for me too much, and I can't really remember it. So rather than putting any sort of general rating, I'm going to pop that one here. I'm just going to leave it there for now rather than assuming anything else or trying to, you know, basically pull a rating out of my ass because I don't remember. Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate 2, I don't really think there's a reason to go all the way back anymore now that we have the new Baldur's Gate. If anything, I'd just play the new one, so that's why that one is going in there. What? This Spyro. Okay, this Spyro, any Spyro. Honestly, I really, really liked the Spyro games. I am going to pop those in the same sort of area as Crash and Yoshi's Island, Super Mario 64. I did enjoy them. I played them many times, played them at my friend's house a lot. I actually helped them finish everything, so there is that. Zelda Majora's Mask I have not played, so I would like to go back to it, so it's going there. Counter-Strike, yes, I did play CS. I played like a few hundred hours of Counter-Strike, the original and also, you know, the updated versions of it. I don't think they're incredible games, but they definitely wasted a lot of my time. So I'm going to pop them in good. Banjo-Tooie, I actually did not play. So I'm going to pop that one in games that I would like to. RuneScape. All right, let's talk about RuneScape. I have a lot of thoughts about RuneScape because I used to come home and I used to play Club Penguin, RuneScape, and all of those sorts of games in my childhood. RuneScape, I ran into the worst kind of people you can ever imagine. I had like 4 RuneScape husbands. I basically just took all of their wedding gifts. I'd marry another RuneScape man, and that was my cycle. But I ran into very, very bad people that lied about their ages. Just to put into context, I must have been something like 11 or 12 years old. And I ran into one guy, for instance, that I'd been talking to for, I think it was a couple of months on RuneScape. We, you know, chat every day. And he told me that he was like 14. And I remember he then messaged me one day and he's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I've been lying to you. But I hope that you forgive me. I'm actually 37. And I was like, okay. And he's like, "I hope that doesn't change anything, haha." And yeah, basically he started getting super weird. And then I started getting other messages from other super weird people that turned out to be lying about their ages. So RuneScape has a lot of memories for me, but it is also a classic. And I have to say that for my overall experience in the game, I would say good, but it definitely tarnished what would have been probably an incredible game just because of the negative experiences. I literally had people trying to get me to meet up with them in forests, and that is a whole thing that I could go into and unpack one day. But basically, I have a lot of RuneScape lore, and that is why that one is going in good. Now, Paper Mario, I did play, but I only played a couple of hours of it. So rather than giving it an overall rating, I'm actually going to say that I would like to play it. I do remember having a good time with it, but I think for whatever reason, I just didn't continue. But it's definitely an interesting game. And, you know, you can watch the gameplay videos of it. I think it's really good overall. Klonoa, I actually did not play, and I wouldn't mind going back to play it. So I'm going to pop it there. Devil May Cry Original, I wouldn't go back to try and play this because we've got the new ones. Grand Theft Auto 3. Now, I did play this. I did enjoy it a lot. I'm not going to put it in incredible because I think we have the better Grand Theft Auto games, but it was definitely a very good game for its time, 100%. Civ 3, I did not play, and I wouldn't go back to that one at this point. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, again, I don't think I played 3. I think I played 2. I'm not going to go back to that one at this point. Metal Gear Solid, yes, I would want to play that one day. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, yes, I did play this actually. I'm going to pop Ghost Recon in decent, just because, again, it's another game that didn't really stick out for me too much. It didn't really live in my head anywhere, so that's why that one's going there. Dead or Alive 3, I am actually going to pop this down here just because I've not got any plans to play it. Halo Combat Evolved. I played a lot of this at school with the, you know, the little thumbstick files. So we played a lot of Halo in school when we should have been doing schoolwork. And yeah, we had a really, really good time with it. I don't think I can pop this Halo as an incredible game, but I will pop it in good. Wario Land 4, I actually did not play that one. I did watch it quite a lot, actually, but I didn't play it, so I can't give it a rating. Pikmin. Pikmin, the original Pikmin, I did play, and honestly, I was not a big fan. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't fantastic. I'm going to pop that one in decent. Super Mario or Super Smash Brothers Melee. That was one of my first true loves, I think. I was genuinely in love with Super Smash Brothers at some point. Oh, would I call it a masterpiece though? Whew. I think it's very close. I think I had an absolutely fantastic time with Super Smash Brothers Melee, but I have to say that I think Ultimate is probably the best Smash out there. But I did absolutely love Brawl as well. I can't put it as a masterpiece, but it was definitely a fantastic game. I'm going to leave it there for now. Jak and Daxter I did play, but these were also a set of games that I didn't really have too many memories from. They were okay, but not fantastic. Final Fantasy, again, I would like to play the rest of the Final Fantasies one day. Medal of Honor, we've got, what is that? Assault? Allied Assault. Oh, of course it is. So, I did play Allied Assault as well, but I don't remember very much of it at all. So, yeah, I can't actually remember anything from it at all. I've definitely played it. So I'm going to put that one down here because I don't have any plans to go back. And if I can't remember the game, maybe I should give it a bad rating, but I don't remember it. So I'd rather not jump on that bandwagon. Sonic Adventure 2. I wish this was specifically Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. I'm sorry. This is one of my favorite games of all time. This is genuinely the game that I think of. If you say, what is one of your favorite games of all time? Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is definitely up there. But one problem that I have is that we need more Chow Garden in 2024. And I've been saying it for so long, and so have other people, that we need to get Sonic Adventure 2 Battle Chow Garden on mobile, and then I will finally go back to mobile games again. But until that happens, I will not be going back to mobile gaming. If they released it as a Switch game or something like that, even if it was some sort of like online, even if it was RNG gacha, I wouldn't care. I would be all over that, right? But Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, I have played probably 30 or 40 times by this point, and that is not an exaggeration. I have genuinely played that game so many times. So, yeah. I even used to do the kart racing. I used to do actual world record attempt speed runs of the kart racing in that game, believe it or not. What is wrong with me? I don't know. But that is definitely going to be my first placement up there. I absolutely adore that game. So I actually can't read what game this is, and I'm very sorry to anyone I've offended by saying that, so I'm going to have to put that over here in haven't played, but I genuinely cannot even read it. I should probably be able to identify it, but I cannot. Elder Scrolls Morrowind. This is going to be another contentious placement, but I did not really enjoy Morrowind at all when I tried to go back and play it after playing Skyrim. So that's actually going to go in the same category as Ocarina of Time. I imagine that this list in particular is going to be a spicy one, so I'm loving this one as it builds up. Final Fantasy, yep, I'm going to pop that one in. Games I would like to play. Neverwinter Nights, I've never played and I have no plans to. Eternal Darkness, I actually did play a lot of this on the GameCube, believe it or not. I don't think it was that great. I do remember it, and it was an interesting concept, but I don't think it was fantastic. I'm going to leave it in decent, however, but it was, again, another game that never really stuck with me too much. Warcraft. I did not play, I can't even read which one is that. Reign of Chaos. Okay, no, I did not play it, and I don't plan on playing it. Soul Calibur, I did not play. I would consider playing them. Alien Hominid. I did not play this. I watched a lot of it. He's very cute, obviously, the little alien. So I've seen a lot of stuff with him in it, but I never played it. But I would definitely consider playing it. Super Mario Sunshine. Whew. This is another one that, you know what, the first time I played Super Mario Sunshine, I liked it, I loved it, but I also hated it for many reasons. I did not really, let's say the mechanics didn't really stick with me, but despite that, I have gone back to Super Mario Sunshine probably 20 times during my GameCube era, so I must love it in some fashion. It's very difficult because I would love to put Super Mario Sunshine as a masterpiece, but I feel like the new age Marios have bested it slightly. So I'm going to put Sunshine in Incredible, but this was a game that definitely had a lasting impression. And 100%, if you have never played Super Mario Sunshine, I think you should, because it is one of the baselines for platformers, but with a spice, being Flood, obviously. Very, very, very good game overall still. Animal Crossing. The first Animal Crossing that I played was on Switch, and I don't know if we're actually going to get the Switch version on this list anywhere. I can't see it. So I don't know whether to put this. We are going to get the new Animal Crossing. Okay, in that case, I am not going to put this one as high because, yeah, Animal Crossing, and, you know, we've got Queegum in there. I think it was good overall, but it was not my favourite set of games I've ever played. I was always playing something else rather than Animal Crossing, but, you know, they've always been decent overall and very interesting little games. Kingdom Hearts. I did play Kingdom Hearts, and I did used to enjoy these quite a bit. I would not put them as incredible, but I did enjoy them quite a bit. I used to play them at my friend's house and stuff like that. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2. I think Need for Speed has always been a classic. I'm going to put Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 as decent, because that one wasn't the one that stuck out with me. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. Number 4 I did play, and again, I'm going to pop that one in decent. But Skate on the Wii is my true love and my calling for the skate games. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I do think that Vice City was a good Grand Theft Auto game. I would almost be tempted to put it as incredible, but I think overall it's just a very good game. But again, the other Grand Theft Autos out there are now better than it, so I can't really put it any higher. Age of Mythology, I did play. It was okay. It was okay. I wouldn't say that I disliked it as much as I did Ocarina of Time or Morrowind, but it was okay. Now, original Ratchet and Clank, I did also play, and I would say overall they're pretty good. Not fantastic, but the original was definitely okay. Resident Evil 0. I can't even remember very much from 0. You know what? I can't remember enough from it that I'm not going to even give it a recommendation. I'll put it in something that I could go back to and play again, but I don't remember enough of it. So, Metroid Fusion, I did play. I didn't really enjoy it. I'm sorry. I should probably not play or say too much else about Metroid Fusion. Metroid Prime, I did play, and I think it's decent, but it was not a favourite of mine. Why do I keep giving Metroid games so many chances? Because I wanted to believe. I wanted to really believe that it would be a good experience, but maybe they just didn't stick with me for whatever reason. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, I remember this one. I don't really know how I feel about Splinter Cell. I think it was decent. It was a good game for its time. These days, yeah, it's probably lacking a little bit, but I'd say I had an okay time playing that back during this is GameCube era, isn't it, if I'm not wrong? It was definitely okay overall. I did not play that Zelda, but I would like to one day. Castlevania, I never played the newer version, but I would be willing to. And then we've got Joe. I did not actually play it. I'd be willing to. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That's not the old Nintendo 64 one, is it? No, that can't be. Because I did play some of the... what was the GameCube one that I played? It was the one with the orange front. I can't remember this one, so I'm going to pop it there. But yeah, I definitely played some of the Star Wars games back then. Whew, we have a spicy one coming up right here. F-Zero GX. You know what? I loved this game. I really, really loved F-Zero GX. Captain Falcon, and then being able to play him in Smash Brothers, obviously. I used to love playing Captain Falcon in Smash Brothers. But F-Zero GX, yeah, I absolutely adored F-Zero GX. I played it quite a few times. So, I think the first time I tried it, for whatever reason, it didn't really stick, but then I tried it a second time and I was like, yeah, I love this game. So yeah, maybe a little bit contentious putting it over some of those in good, but I definitely really enjoyed it. Tony Hawk's Underground, I don't think I ever played that one, however, but I would be willing to go back. Prince of Persia, I do remember playing this, but I don't remember much of it. So for the same reason as before, I'm going to pop that one in here. Call of Duty, this is the OG. I did play it and I do not remember enough about it. So again, same reason I'm going to pop that there. Oh, which Ratchet and Clank is this? I can't even read it. I can't read which Ratchet and Clank that is, and I'm probably not going to go back to any of them, so I'll pop that one there. Mario Kart Double Dash. Oh, baby, yes. I loved Mario Kart Double Dash as well. You'll probably notice that quite a few of the GameCube era games is where my soul lies. I don't know. GameCube, I don't think actually sold that well overall, but my heart is definitely in that era. That was like my full growing up era. I fell in love with so many of the games from back then. They were really good. And Double Dash, you know, that was definitely a spicy one for the Mario franchise in terms of, you know, the actual kart racing mechanics. Definitely more unique compared to a lot of the others. So that's why I'm leaving that one there. Need for Speed Underground. I did think that this one was okay overall. I don't think I could put it as good, but it was definitely decent. Metroid Zero Mission, I did not play. I'm probably not ever going to go back to it. Ninja Gaiden, I didn't play, and I did used to watch some of it, so I'm not going to go back. I don't have any plans for that, but it's definitely an interesting series. Pokemon Colosseum. I would love to put this game as a masterpiece, but I do still to this day have a few problems with the game, and for that reason I'm going to pop that one in incredible. But I absolutely adore Pokemon Colosseum, and last year I actually played Pokemon XD for the first time after wanting to play it for so many years, and I think they are Pokemon games with the difficulty that they should have rather than what we have these days. But they are not perfect. They do have a lot of problems, and maybe I'll go through that one day, but I absolutely adore Pokemon Colosseum. Anything in this incredible category, you know what? I think I've been a bit too nice about this particular Spyro, so I'm going to pop that one down into good, and I feel like that suits me a little bit more. That looks more correct to how my brain feels, but I still love that Spyro. I really do. I'm kind of umming and ahhing. So if I change any of them, because as we start adding more, there'll be more of a, you know, a basis to base what we've already put our judgments on. So if I do change anything in the middle, that will be why. OG Far Cry. Did I play OG Far Cry? I did. Yes, 100% I did. I don't really think the OG Far Cry stuck out to me very much. I'm going to leave the original Far Cry in decent, but I had a lot of fun with Far Cry 2 and 3. A lot. So I'm going to leave that one in there for now. WarioWare Inc. I actually did not play the original WarioWare Inc. I would be willing to go back, but I think the WarioWare games and just Wario games in general now, like the Switch one, they are a lot of fun. Doom 3, I did not actually play, but I would be willing to go back. Pikmin 2, yes, I did play Pikmin 2, and I think that Pikmin 2 was a little bit better. I'm going to pop Pikmin 2 in decent, but Pikmin games never stuck with me too much. Fable, I did not play, and I probably won't go and play it, but that's not because I dislike Fable, I just don't have any plans to. The Sims 2, I played a lot. I played a lot of The Sims 2, and I'm going to pop that one in good because I had a really good time with it. I played The Sims 2 Pets mainly. I don't think Pets has a separate category or thing here, so I'm going to leave it there. Star Wars Battlefront, I did not play, and I don't have any plans to. Same with Rome Total War. Counter-Strike Source. Yes, again, I did play Counter-Strike Source. I'm actually going to leave this one in decent. I don't think it was fantastic, but I'm going to leave that in decent for now. Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. This was another one that I did not play, but I watched a lot of, but if I didn't play it, I can't give a rating on it. I would love to play it one day. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I loved this game. I really loved San Andreas. Could I put it in incredible? I don't think so. I think I will leave my incredible posting to one particular Grand Theft Auto game, but I had a lot of fun with San Andreas. This Ratchet and Clank, again, I think was good overall. I'm going to also pop that one in good. Halo 2, I actually did not play, so I don't have any plans to go back to it. Metroid Echoes, I did not play. I don't want to play it. Need for Speed Underground 2, I did not play it. Half-Life 2, I did not play it, but I'd be willing to go and play it. Metal Gear Solid 3, I would love to play that one day. World of Warcraft, yes, I did play World of Warcraft, but I kept dropping it. It was not my fun, but it was a good time when I did play it. As in, it was okay overall, but that's why I'm going to pop it in decent, but it was not where my heart lies. Tekken 5, I did not play. I would be willing to one day, however. Cave Story, I did not play. Resi 4, the OG Resi 4. I think that original Resident Evil 4 was an incredible game. Definitely stuck out. It was one of those games that I will always remember everything about it. And then we got the remake, and the remake was basically that game, but even better, because it was everything that we had, but you know, the increased graphics. That was fantastic, the remake. So I'm going to pop that one in. Incredible. DMC3, I did not play. I don't have any plans to go back. My first DMC is actually the one that people think was the worst DMC, so I've got a different opinion, I think, to a lot of people on that one. OG God of War, I did play, and I will be honest, this one was okay. I didn't really like it all that much, but I remember playing it back when the New Age God of Wars were getting released, and it wasn't that fantastic, but I still stuck with the series nonetheless, but it was The other Splinter Cell, I did also play that one, but it doesn't really stick out with me again, so again, I'm going to pop this one. Also indecent, same with the other Splinter Cell. Psychonauts, I did not play. I never played, but I'd be willing to go back. Pokemon Emerald, I think, was a very, very good game. It was Ruby Sapphire. It was an improvement on both of them. Who do I put it as incredible, though? I think, considering how many times I replayed it, I have to. And regardless of my overall rating, if I had a Pokemon tier list, it would be a separate thing altogether. But I do think that Gen 3/Gen 4 Pokemon was a really, really good gen for Pokemon. And it does stick out. I really love these gens. This was when I went to Japan at one point during Gen 3 as well. It was Gen 3 about to go into Gen 4 era, and my favorite generations of Pokemon are Gen 4 and the latest generation, Gen 9. But I still think that Emerald overall is a very good game, and being able to trade between like Colosseum, like all the GameCube games and the GBA games, yeah, I think I'd be doing a disservice not to put it in incredible, because it did actually mean a lot to me as a game. Forza, I didn't play, and I wouldn't really care to. Kirby Canvas Curse. Now, I've actually watched a lot of this game, believe it or not, but I don't have any plans to go back myself. Destroy All Humans, I did play. I don't think it's a bad game, but it was another game that it was like, I played it, and I was sort of done with it. So, I'm going to leave that one there. Ninja Gaiden, I did not play, and I probably won't play. Pokemon XD, like I said before, it is like Pokemon Colosseum. I think that they are quite unique games, and I do think that they are very good overall for what the series is. They have a lot of problems, but I still really liked them, so I'm going to pop them there. This Castlevania I also did not play, but I kind of did at one point. I just never got around to it. Shadow of the Colossus I didn't play. I watched a lot of gameplay of it, but I never played myself. Call of Duty 2 I did play, and I think overall it was decent, but again, didn't really stick out to me, so that's going there. Civ 4 I did not play, so I'm going to pop that there. Soul Calibur 3 I did play about half an hour of it, so I haven't given it enough of a chance, so that's going there. Star Wars Battlefront 2 I did play, but not enough, so that is also going in games that I would be willing to play. Guitar Hero I have played before, and it was a good experience, but I didn't play enough. I played more DJ Hero, Osu, and the other rhythm games that were out, but Guitar Hero is definitely, you know, is a classic game out there, so I'm going to put that one there. Need for Speed Most Wanted. Now, this is where I think Need for Speed actually did start becoming more interesting to me. I'm going to put that one in good as well. Geometry Wars. I actually really love Geometry Wars. I'm also putting that one in good. Perfect Dark Zero, I did not play. I'm actually going to pop that one in games I probably won't play. Animal Crossing Wild World, I didn't play, and I'm not going to go back to it. Ghost Recon, I can't remember which one that is because I can't read it. I'm not going to go back to it. This Final Fantasy, sure, I'd love to play it. Oblivion. This is another one that I played after playing Skyrim. I did not enjoy my time with Oblivion, and I ended up dropping the game. So I'm very sorry, but Oblivion is also going into that bad category. That doesn't mean that the rating is going to remain the same for Skyrim, however, which is genuinely what made me want to play the old games, and I did not enjoy them whatsoever. So it is what it is. This Kingdom Hearts I did also play, but it was another game that I think it was good, but it didn't really stick with me, so I'm going to pop that in good. Origami I did play, but not too much of. I think it was decent, but it wasn't a game that really stuck with me for whatever reason. So I'm going to pop that one in decent. Persona 3, I didn't play Persona 3, so I'm not going to rate this one, but I did play the remake, and I would highly, highly suggest that you play the remake version of Persona 3 and not the original. So we'll get to that one later. Dead Rising. I loved Dead Rising. Oh, I absolutely adored Dead Rising. If you've ever seen any clips of Dead Rising, you've never played Dead Rising games before, 100% you should play Dead Rising. It was a fantastic game. I will always remember that. I was playing it on the Wii version. It was fantastic. I loved it so much. Original Saints Row, I never played. I probably won't go back to it. Bully, I also adored Bully. I absolutely love this game. It's a very unique experience, but it is, I believe it's Rockstar, right? But definitely an interesting game. I really enjoyed my time playing Bully back then on the Wii. Like, I would easily go back and probably play it now even. It was a good experience. I'd suggest it. If you've got a Wii or any way of playing Wii games, I would definitely play that one. Need for Speed Carbon. Need for Speed Carbon was a good game. Would I put it as good as some of these in Incredible? I don't think so, but I definitely really, really liked Need for Speed Carbon. I remember the ending when those credits came up and the song was playing. That's always stuck in the back of my mind. Don't know why, but it did. Roblox. I have touched it on other children's computers before when they've been playing it and trying to get them to stop playing the game. I would never, ever play Roblox, ever, myself. I'm sorry, never. Call of Duty 3, I did play. I thought it was decent, but not fantastic. Gears of War, I have actually played it, but I didn't get much of a chance to because it was playing at another person's house. And to be honest, I did not get enough of a chance to keep playing this game. I've heard fantastic things about Gears of War, and I'm sure it is a great game. And from what I did play, I think it is great. But I'm going to put that in games I'd like to play rather than giving it an overall rating. Guitar Hero 2, again, I do think Guitar Hero as a whole were a great set of games, and they got a lot of people into rhythm games as a whole. Viva Pinata. This game, I used to get so upset that I could not play Viva Pinata because I did not have an Xbox back at this time, and I believe it was Microsoft/Xbox only back then. Obviously, we didn't have the Microsoft naming, but it was mainly Xbox, and I could not play this game. I was so upset, and still to this day, I have not played Viva Pinata, but I 100% had plans to play this for like 10 years and just never got around to it. But definitely up there in games I would love to play. We've got another Zelda, which, yes, I would like to play that. Wii Sports, man. Whew. I would love to put it in Incredible. I don't think it's Incredible, but it was a fantastic release game. I loved Wii Sports. I spent way too much time in it. All the boxing, all the tennis, the golf. It was a fantastic launch title. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas, I did play. I didn't really think too much of it, however, so I'm going to pop that one in decent. Gary's Mod I did play, and I didn't really enjoy Gary's Mod at all. I didn't enjoy the community around it. I didn't enjoy the whole gameplay. Gameplay as a whole. I'm going to actually put this one in bad because I did not have a fantastic experience with it. Compared to all the other stuff I've got in decent, I did not stick with Gary's Mod very much at all. WarioWare Smooth Moves. I don't think it's the best game ever made, but it was a fun game. My goodness gracious me, it was a fun game. So that was going in good. Crackdown, I never played and I don't have any interest. Peggle, I did play. I don't think I could put it in anything other than decent, however. It's not like it was the most amazing thing ever. It's just Peggle. I don't know what else to say. It's not bad, it's not good, it's just Peggle. Deserves its own Peggle category. Maybe I should just make a separate one for Peggle only. God of War 2, another one that I think was decent, but it wasn't fantastic for me. Again, I sort of stuck with these once I started replaying them, but they were kind of Forza, I didn't actually play. Bioshock, this Bioshock I did not play. I don't have any plans to go back. Metroid Prime 3, I was not playing at this point. What did I just put in there? Anyway, Halo 3, I also did not play, and I don't have any plans to go back to. Portal I did play, and it was okay. I think Portal 2 was better. Team Fortress 2 I did play, and I do think that overall it was good. The hats and everything, and I used to know some people that used to basically try and scam people out of money by selling them hats and pretending that they were worth a lot more money than they actually were, when they obviously weren't. So it was another one of those games. This was like the old internet, back when people used to be scamming people on RuneScape, TF2, all of those classic titles. So yeah, it's good, but I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite games ever. I didn't actually put that many hours into it compared to other people, so it is what it is. Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction, I think was also okay. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it in good actually, rather than decent. Guitar Hero 3, I did not play, and I don't plan on going back to. The Witcher, I did not play, but The Witcher as a whole, I've seen a lot of gameplay of. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, I think that it was pretty good overall, but not fantastic. Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, I did really like these games, but not enough to put at the same as like Super Mario 64 level, but they were definitely a lot of fun to play with other people. Super Mario Galaxy, I think was a really good game. I really do. I think it was a fantastic game. But there's obviously Galaxy 2, and then we've got the New Age Marios like Odyssey now, which I think were like steps up in the right direction. Then we've got the original Assassin's Creed. I really did enjoy this game, and I'm still playing Assassin's Creed games to this day, but I think the original one was good. There were better Assassin's Creeds later on. Crysis, I did play. I think it was decent, but not fantastic. Uncharted Drake's Fortune. This is one of my favorite series of all time. However, the first Uncharted game was okay. I went back to play the original Uncharted game after playing, I think it was Uncharted 2, and it was alright. I still enjoyed it, but it was not fantastic. I'm gonna leave it in decent, but the other Uncharted games are some of the best games that have ever been made. Original Mass Effect, I did not play, and I don't really have any plans to go back. Rock Band, I did play, but not enough of, and I probably won't go back. Super Smash Brothers Brawl. I absolutely adored Brawl, just like I did with Melee, and Brawl was like Melee, but more. And so I'm also going to put that one into Incredible. I have a lot of fantastic memories from Brawl. I used to sit there and I used to play that on the Wii so way too much. That is a really, really good game overall. Grand Theft Auto 4, I also think was a pretty incredible game. Some people might be like, really? GTA 4? Yeah, I used to draw pictures of the main character and everything. I used to love Grand Theft Auto 4 back in the day, so I'm going to leave that one there. Do I think that Grand Theft Auto 5 was better overall? Yes, but I think that Grand Theft Auto 4 is still a wonderful, wonderful game. Right, Ninja Gaiden 2 I didn't play. I probably won't play it, to be honest. We've got Metal Gear Solid 4. Again, all the Metal Gear Solid games I do plan to play at some point very soon. Persona 4, I didn't play. I watched a lot of gameplay of it, but I've never played it. I want to play the remake. So I'm going to put that one in games I'd like to play, but I'm waiting for a remake version. I think that will be absolutely fantastic. when that comes out as a remake version. Soul Calibur 4, I would love to play one day, but I never did. Geometry Wars 2, again, I did like Geometry Wars quite a bit. Browled? Am I reading that? Oh, Braid. Oh, Browled? The hell is Browled? I've never heard of Browled. Braid. I've never played Braid. I don't have any plans to. Street Fighter 4. I did actually play, and it did not stick with me very much. I'm going to stick that one in decent. Casual Crashes. I remember playing a lot of this with a lot of people, and I would say it was quite good. It definitely left a lasting impression on me as a game. If you've got a group of friends or whatever, it's definitely one of the more fun multiplayer experiences like that. I guess as a whole, multiplayer games like Castle Crashers-esque are great, but they're not really my go-to games. My go-to games are single player or really, really, really skill-based games. It would be like StarCraft 2s or League of Legends, those sorts of games. So it doesn't really... Yeah, I'm going to have to pop it there for now. Oh, another Viva Pinata. Stop reminding me of all the Viva Pinatas. I never got a chance. Spore. Oh, the Spore games, I would love to put in Incredible. They did have an interesting game mechanic. I would love to put Spore in Incredible, but let's say my enjoyment of the game was incredible, but my overall experience with the game is good. But I think it was absolutely fantastic for what it is, and being able to make your own creatures and rummage around and evolve with them. And, you know, the thing that makes me want to put that into Incredible was the whole space mechanics, you know, the endless amount of worlds. It was something I'd never experienced in a video game before, and I feel like Spore really pushed those limits for something I'd never seen in a video game before at that point in time. So, I think just for the overall gameplay loop, it's not as good as some of the others, but it could be incredible in terms of the impression it left on me as a player. Rock Band 2, I never played, and I probably will not play. Star Wars The Force Unleashed, I actually have some collector stuff in this cupboard behind me. I loved Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I really, really loved this game, and Force Unleashed 2. Is it a bit much putting it in Incredible? Maybe, but I really, really enjoyed these games a lot. So I'm leaving it there. Dead Space, I actually never played. I did buy them, and I never played them for whatever reason. I think I just never got around to it. Saints Row 2, I think, was a very, very fun and a very good game. I'm going to put it in good because I didn't quite enjoy it as much as some of these others, but I really did enjoy it still nonetheless. Fable 2, again, I never played, so I'm going to pop that one in here. Far Cry 2, I really, really enjoyed. I don't think it's quite as good as some of the others that I've got in there, so I'm gonna keep it in good, but it is a very good. But Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3 were definitely some of my favorites at that time. So I'm gonna leave it there. Guitar Hero World Tour, again, did not play, and I'm not gonna go back to play it. Little Big Planet. You know what? Just for what Little Big Planet is, I am actually gonna put this one in Incredible, because I think that it is such a unique game, and playing this, and the one thing that will always, or that I'll always remind myself of with the Little Big Planet, was it Little Big Planet 1 or 2? But this game has one of the most difficult platinum trophies that exists. I don't even know if it's possible anymore to get the platinum with this game, because you had to upload your worlds and then get people to rate them, and that was one of the trophies. I'm almost certain it was, even though it was so long ago, because I used to be a trophy achievement hunter, and that's what annoyed me about one of these games, the fact that I was never ever going to get the platinum on it. But the games, I think, are fantastic. And if you can ever pick up the newest ones, or the newest one, I should say, I would definitely suggest playing it. I think that Little Big Planet is a brilliant, brilliant game if you like platformers. Fallout 3, I did play. It did not stick with me very much, and I didn't play enough of it, I think, to give it a rating, so I'm going to leave that in games I would like to play. Gears of War 2, again, did not get a chance to play it, but I would put it there. Call of Duty World at War, I think, was decent, but nothing really much else to say about it. Left 4 Dead, I did play, but not very much, but I didn't really care for it very much at the time, so I'm going to pop Left 4 Dead there. Halo Wars, I did not play, so I'm going to pop that one here. Empire Total War, I did not play. Resident Evil 5. I absolutely adored Resident Evil 5. Now, is it as good as some of these games up here, like Sunshine? Is it as good as Resident Evil 4? It's a tough one, I have to say. That Resident Evil 5 to 4, I really enjoyed 5. I think it would be wrong for me to say that I didn't enjoy 5 as much as I did. So this is going to be a hot one, but I'm actually going to pop that one in an incredible. I actually really liked Resident Evil 5 and 6. So I'm going to leave that one there. Grand Theft Auto Chinatown, I never played. I would like to one day, however. Pokemon Platinum, I think, is an absolutely fantastic game. Platinum and Gen 4 in general for Pokemon, I can't think off the top of my head of another game series that improved on its fundamental mechanics as much as Gen 4 Pokemon did. It was just such a difference going from Gen 3 Pokemon, where there was no trading system online or anything like that, to all of the online implementations that they made, all the improvements. I think it's actually wrong for me to put this one in incredible, because Platinum actually does stick with me as one of my favorite games of all time. I think I had 1,010 hours in Pokemon Diamond and another 800 hours in Platinum. Gen 4 Pokemon was unironically one of the best gaming experiences of my life. So yeah, I think it's actually wrong for me to put it as incredible. If I'm talking in terms of scoring systems, how good they are overall, yeah, maybe I'd stick it in incredible, but for what it did for me as a gaming series, I have to put it up there, I think. I think it would be disingenuous not to. So I'm going to leave that there. Plants vs. Zombies was okay. I actually did like it when I used to play it, but now it's turned into mobile gaming slop. I'm not really too interested in the series anymore, but, you know, OG Plants vs. Zombies, it was a lot of fun. Sims 3, I also think was quite good. I think The Sims have always been quite good, but it's The Sims. It is what it is. Prototype, I remember this. I enjoyed Prototype quite a lot. It was a unique game, and I wish they had more of them. I wish that we could get a Prototype now. But I'm definitely going to put it as good. Trials HD was another really, really fun game, and the one after this, I think, deserves a lot of love. Batman Arkham Asylum, I did play this, but I did not finish this game, and I always intended to go back, so rather than giving it a rating, I'm going to pop it there. Guitar Hero 5, I didn't play. Halo 3 ODST, I did not play. Demon Souls, I did play Demon Souls, and I didn't enjoy it that much. I played this after I played Dark Souls, and I don't think I even managed to finish Demon Souls. So for that reason alone, because I never felt compelled to go back, I'm gonna leave Demon Souls as decent, but it was not a fantastic experience compared to some of the other stuff out there. Do I put it, in fact, in bad because I couldn't finish the game? I didn't feel compelled to. You know what? Just because some of the other games in decent there that I did finish and I did give the time of day, I'm going to have to pop Demon Souls down there. But that doesn't mean that this series of games is not one of my favorites of all time. So please, don't hate me for it. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves was brilliant. This game had one of the most enjoyable multiplayer experiences of all time. But Uncharted 3's multiplayer improved on it, and then Uncharted 4 had the best story. Uncharted 2 also had a fantastic story. I can't put Uncharted 2 into Masterpiece because I think Uncharted 3 has to get that one. But it was absolutely fantastic as a gaming series. It is one of my favorite gaming series of all time, easily. Borderlands. The original Borderlands, I absolutely adored. I'm also going to put Borderlands in incredible. Just the range of guns, the humor in the game. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it is my cup of tea. So I'm definitely popping Borderlands into incredible. Forza Motorsport. I actually did plan to go back, but I never went and played that one. League of Legends. How do you even put League of Legends on a... Like, these are mostly, like, single player, or, I guess, some co-op-ish games. How do you even put League of Legends on a tier list like this? I have no idea. I don't know what to say about League of Legends. Look, I think that as a concept of a game, it is fantastic, and I think that their anti-cheat and everything is absolutely brilliant these days. Obviously, we've got millions of dollars every year that get put into it, but because of the ranked experience, because of other players, I don't think I could put League of Legends into incredible. The gameplay loop is there. The skill-based section of it is there. I get it. I just don't think I can put it into incredible because I had a lot of hate in this game as well. As any League of Legends player could probably tell you, you can't play League of Legends for, I think I played over 1,000 hours of League without hating it somewhat. And ultimately, once I'd lost the group of people I used to play with, I did just stop playing it entirely, so I don't think it left as good of an impression as the other games on here. So it's a difficult one. It would be somewhere between good and incredible overall, but I'm going to have to pop it in good. Bayonetta. I always wanted to play Bayonetta after seeing the clips, but I never did. I think one day I'll definitely go back. Dragon Age Origins, I never played, and I might go back one day. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, I did think was good overall, but not the best Call of Duty out there. Assassin's Creed 2, I really, really enjoyed Assassin's Creed 2. I'm actually going to pop that in incredible. Assassin's Creed 2 and the one after it, I think, were really, really decent games overall. Left 4 Dead 2, I did play, and I did quite enjoy it, but didn't stick with me as much as other games. Mass Effect 2, I do think was an incredible game, same with Mass Effect 3. And playing Dragon Age Veilguard recently definitely has brought me back to this Mass Effect sort of longing, I will say. I've still got tons of Mass Effect 2 and 3 stuff in my cupboards here and in my other room, so yeah, I really enjoyed Mass Effect. BioShock 2, I thought was okay at best. It didn't really stick with me, however, the newer BioShock definitely did. Battlefield Bad Company 2, I actually really enjoyed Battlefield Bad Company 2. I can't say it was the best sort of shooter I've ever played, but it was definitely a good one. I did like the comedy as well in the Bad Company games, so I'm going to leave it there. Final Fantasy, again, I did not play. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, man. Oh, they were absolutely brilliant, but at the end of the day, they were remakes of the old games, but so much better. They actually made me, someone that did not like Gen 2 Pokemon, actually love Gen 2 Pokemon. So yeah, this one is a biased pick, and I am going to put it in Masterpiece because, like I said, I think Gen 4 Pokemon is genuinely some of the best in terms of gameplay improvements I've ever seen for a series. Like, if I think about some of these other series that have been on here, like we've got Call of Duty, we've got Little Big Planet, we've got StarCraft, I don't think any of them improved in the same way that Pokemon did. It's the reason I stuck with Pokemon every single year. It's some of the improvements that they made over time and the way that they've evolved. I think Gen 4 was peak for those changes. Just on a fundamental level, it was fantastic. So, sorry, hate me all you want. I'm a Gen 4 glazer. God of War 3, this is actually when I started to enjoy the God of War games quite a bit more. God of War 3 onwards. I had a lot of fun with it. I'm actually going to pop it into good here. Nier, I did not play. I would probably do it one day. Red Dead Redemption, I think, was an incredible game. I enjoyed it a lot. But Red Dead Redemption 2 exists. So that is the reason why Red Dead 1 goes in incredible. Super Mario Galaxy 2, I think, is also one of the best platformers I've ever played in my life. Easily. If you've never played Super Mario Galaxy 2, I would highly recommend that you play it. It is a brilliant, brilliant game. Xenoblade, I did play, but not very much of. I wanted to go back to it one day and I never did. Limbo, I watched the whole game and I never played it, but I would love to go and play it one day. StarCraft 2, I did play, and I had a lot of fun with it, but for the same reasons as League of Legends, I'm popping that one into good. I did not play it anywhere near as much as I did League, but it is such a brilliant game for testing your skills against another person. I just never had a group of people around me that were as interested in StarCraft 2 as they were in, Dota and League of Legends. So it was something that I just kind of skipped a little bit. But it's a brilliant, brilliant game overall for testing your skills, 100%. Kingdom Hearts, I did actually play this one, and I think that I didn't play enough of it. So rather than me giving a rating, I would probably put it in good, but I've not played the whole thing start to finish. So I'm going to pop it in games that I would like to play. Halo Reach, I did not play, and I don't have any plans to go and play it. Civ 5, I did not play, but I do actually plan to go back with all the Civ games one day and try that. Final Fantasy again. Kirby's Epic Yarn, again, I didn't play. Fallout New Vegas, I did play, and it was okay. I don't have much else to say about it. Super Meat Boy. I actually loved Super Meat Boy a lot. I think it was a fantastic game, and these sorts of games as a whole have always been the sort of games that I like. I really, really like these games that make you want to pull your hair out and physically harm something. Not a human, but let's just say do deep damage to some sort of wall. Brilliant. I love that feeling. Rock Band 3 did not play, but I would want to one day. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. Again, I am a glazer. I loved the Force Unleashed games. I know they weren't perfect, but they left a massive impact on me. And again, I've got the collector stuff behind me. So, sorry, I'm a glazer. Call of Duty Black Ops. I really liked Black Ops and Black Ops 2. I know some Call of Duty fans will be like, what's wrong with you? Why would you say that? It's true. I remember playing Call of Duty Black Ops when I was on holiday, and I was literally on holiday in Cyprus. And we took the whole PlayStation with us, and I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops there. I played so much Black Ops. And then obviously there's zombies as well. I played a lot of zombies. Black Ops, definitely up there. This was my king Call of Duty for me. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, like I mentioned before, Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, they were amazing for me. I loved them when they released. Donkey Kong Country Returns, I watched the whole thing, but I did not play it. I would love to play it one day. Little Big Planet 2, another fantastic game. Like I said, Little Big Planet 2, definitely play them if you never have. Dead Space 2, I did play 10 minutes of it and then turned it off. Not because I hated it, but I never got back to it. Pokemon Black and White. I really love Gen 5 still. I would still put Black and White in Incredible, I think. I definitely think I would. I can't put it as Masterpiece because although I think Black and White were pretty much just as good as Gen 4, we didn't have the same technological advancements that we had in Gen 3 to 4 that we had in Gen 4 to 5. But I still played hundreds and hundreds of hours of Black and White. So it might look like I view them very differently, but I don't think they're all that different. It's just for the technical aspects alone, that is why I would put Platinum and Soul Silver Heart Gold up there, but not Black and White. If it's Black and White 2, which I don't know if that's on the list anywhere. Oh, it actually is. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Total War Shogun, I did not play, and I have no plans to at this point in time. Crisis 2 I did play, and I think it was okay, but it didn't leave a massive impression on me. Portal 2, I think, was a brilliant game overall, but it was not really my cup of tea. I found myself more so bored because I don't really like puzzle games very much, but I can appreciate it for what it is, but I can't put it any higher than good. Terraria, I do think, is a very, very good game overall. A lot of fun to be had, and just a really good experience overall. Yeah, once you've played it for a few hundred hours, you get sort of used to it. I think Terraria is a really, really good game, and to this day, you could go back and play Terraria, and it would feel exactly like it did way back when, which a lot of games have not achieved. So they've changed their product so much and turned it into something that it's not. So for that reason alone, I'm going to leave Terraria in there. I think it's a very, very good game, and you should probably at least give it a try if you haven't already. All right, my camera battery died, so we're going to have to go like this from now on, but it's fine. Anyway, I say that as I destroy my microphone. Anyway, LA Noire. LA Noire, I think, was a fantastic game. You know, the facial expressions, everything like that. The woo, let's move the papers around. Definitely stuck with me as a really, really good game. I don't think it's a masterpiece, because it did have a couple of issues, but I think overall, definitely an absolutely fantastic game. The Witcher 2, I didn't play. I probably would one day, to be honest, if I ever went back after playing The Witcher 3 and maybe go back, but yeah, let's leave that one there for now. Bastion, I didn't play. I did watch a lot of gameplay footage of it. I would probably go back one day. Gears of War 3, again, didn't play, but would definitely love to go back. Dark Souls, original Dark Souls. I loved Dark Souls. I really loved Dark Souls, but I don't think the original Dark Souls gets an incredible category because we have the other Dark Souls. I'm going to put Dark Souls in good. I'm going to leave there in the good category for now. Binding of Isaac, I think, is fantastic as a series. If you've never played The Binding of Isaac, you need to play The Binding of Isaac. And we've got The Binding of Isaac and all of the, you know, the DLCs for it as well. I think this is a fantastic game, and you can get thousands of hours out of The Binding of Isaac. 100%, you should play it if you have not already. Forza 4, again, did not play. I'm going to leave it here. Batman Arkham City, I always intended to go back to, and I never did, but I'm not there yet. Battlefield 3, I actually did enjoy Battlefield 3 quite a lot. I'm going to put it in good, but it was a good experience. Same with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, I'd put them around about the same. Skyrim. Now, Skyrim I would put in Masterpiece if it wasn't so buggy. My experience with Skyrim ended up being that I just got a bunch of dog companions and I just let them play the whole game for me, which maybe that took away some of the enjoyment, and I should probably go back and play it again one day. But I basically cheesed the whole of Skyrim the first time, but I played this game start to finish instantly and I fell in love with it. So for that reason alone, I'm going to leave that in incredible. But I don't think I had the same experience as some other people to put it as a masterpiece, despite being re-released like, what, 13 times at this point? We're waiting on the next Elder Scrolls. Let's be real. Super Mario 3D Land, I do think is a really good game. I only got to play a little bit of it, but from what I did, I would at least put it into good. I think if I played the whole thing start to finish and didn't just watch all of it, I'd probably put it a little bit higher, but I'm going to leave it there. Assassin's Creed Revelations, I really enjoyed Revelations as well, despite it being, it was quite short from my memory, but that era of Assassin's Creed, I was in love. So I love it. Rayman Origins. I actually really, really liked Rayman Origins as a game. I played it quite a few times, and I think it was very unique for what they turned it into. It's a lot better than the other Rayman games, so I'm actually going to leave that in this category here. Saints Row the Third. I think Saints Row the Third was also a fantastic game. I really do, but I don't think I could put it quite as high as some of the others. I'm going to put it into good, but it's definitely a good experience. Interesting experience, some of the items. If you've not ever seen Saints Row the Third, you should at least watch it. Minecraft is a generational game, but Minecraft doesn't have the same story or anything else that you will see from other video games. But that being said, I do think that Minecraft as a whole product and what it stands for and allowing kids to get into the gaming sphere that otherwise never would have experienced it, I think it is one of the core games out there. But my personal experience with Minecraft is that I think it was a very good game, but there were times where I didn't get out of it what I wanted to get out of it. So for that reason, I'm going to put it as incredible for an overall product. Mass Effect 3, I adored. Same reason for Mass Effect 2. I've still got Grunt and all of those characters in my storage, so I can't put this any higher than where I've put it here. I think it was a very, very good set of games, and yeah, everyone memes about BioWare these days, but I actually think the new Dragon Age was quite good as well. So yeah, let's not talk about Andromeda. Hopefully it doesn't come up here. Journey, I think, was a very, very good game. I didn't play it very much. I watched the whole game afterwards though, but I think overall it at least gets a good. I think if I were to replay it, I might even put it higher, but I would have to replay it to do that. So I'm going to leave it there for now, but Journey is a very unique experience. I'd also suggest that. Fez is a good game. Fez is a puzzle game, however. So I tried to play Fez, and it was okay, but I can't give it a massive rating because, again, I don't really like puzzle games like that too much, but it's a good one. Trials Evolution. I really enjoyed Trials Evolution. Would I still play it today? Yeah, I probably would. I'd probably go back and still play Trials Evolution. I don't think it was a crazy great game, but it was a good one, for sure. The Walking Dead, man, this game was incredible. I don't think it was a masterpiece because, yeah, it is what it is. It's not a super complex game. It's not a super skill-based game or anything like that, of course, but it is an incredible game. You will never see so many people or grown men cry as much as they did at The Walking Dead. Maybe a few games out there, but The Walking Dead is definitely up there as one of the better games that have ever been released, 100%. Spelunky, I also think is a very good game, but I never got into it as much as I did The Binding of Isaac. So for that reason alone, I'm going to leave it in good, but I've watched so much Spelunky. I have watched so much Spelunky content. But it never stuck with me for one reason or another. Don't know why, it just never did. Next up, we have Sleeping Dogs. And Sleeping Dogs, I loved Sleeping Dogs. I'm actually going to put it in incredible because if you've never played Sleeping Dogs, it is GTA, but, you know, Sleeping Dogs-esque. It was a great game. I really enjoyed it, and I would absolutely adore a remake of Sleeping Dogs one day. I don't think one's ever planned, but if they ever do, I would be so happy. Now, we've got OG Steam Counter-Strike for me, and I do think that this Counter-Strike was a very good game, but for the same reasons as League of Legends and StarCraft, I can't put it any higher than good, because the players make it a little bit cancerous, so I'm leaving it there for now. Guild Wars 2, I did not play, but I would like to play it one day. Mark the Ninja, I did not play. Borderlands 2, I adored. Same with Borderlands 3. Resident Evil 6, yeah, I have to put it next to Resident Evil 5. I really enjoyed both of those games. I know that people say that Resident Evil 6 is like the worst Resident Evil ever, but I've replayed Resident Evil 6 like 5 times with different people, and I adored it playing it with someone else. Maybe it's because I had that couch co-op and other people didn't, but Resident Evil 6 with couch co-op was such a fun experience. I adored Resident Evil 6. I still have the content up on my channel to this day. Loved it. Pokemon Black 2, White 2, for the same reasons as Black and White, I'm going to leave it in incredible. I actually played Black 2, White 2, and I got very bored of it very quickly because I felt like I'd already played it and it wasn't really too much different to Black and White. So, I don't know, it just didn't hit me the same way Platinum did. So, I don't know what it was, maybe it just wasn't the same sort of vibe. It's still very good as a gaming series. But yeah, I can't put it any higher than incredible. I'm like saying it was only incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Still very good. Dishonored, I did play some of it, but I did not finish it. And I wanted to go back and I never did. So I'm going to pop it down there for now. XCOM, I did not play very much of, so I'm also not going to give that a rating. Assassin's Creed 3. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed 3. Also, I don't know if it was making as much of an impact on me as Revelations Brotherhood did, but I still think it was a very good game overall, so I'm going to still leave 3 in incredible, just because I think it's a very well-made product. Then we've got Halo 4, which I did not play, and I don't really care to go back to. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I think was also good, but it didn't leave the same... It wasn't quite as amazing as the original Blops, so it's going there. Far Cry 3, yes, I really enjoyed Far Cry 3. Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3 are for me. Fire Emblem, I did not play. I would love to go back and play it one day. RuneScape? I thought that was old school RuneScape back then. Where did I put RuneScape before? In good? Yeah, I'm going to leave that in the same place. The same sort of vibe, you know what I mean? Gears of War Judgment did not play, but I would one day. Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion, I'm thinking of the GameCube version. This one I did not play, if I remember right. But original Luigi's Mansion was fantastic for the GameCube. Battle Block Theater. Oh my god, yeah. Battle Block Theater was a good game. Very funny, very interesting. I think it's good to watch other people play it as well, especially if you don't have co-op partners. But very good game overall. Just didn't leave the same impact as these did. Guacamelee, I never played. Don't Starve, I never played, but I would definitely like to play Don't Starve together one day. And is this the new age? This isn't the Animal Crossing that I've played, so I'm going to pop that one in here. The Last of Us, I think, was a phenomenal game. Oh, would I put it as a masterpiece? I don't know if The Last of Us stuck with me quite as much as some other games did. Did it? You know what? I think it did. I think The Last of Us OG actually did. I don't think I spent as much time in the communities in that for The Last of Us. Maybe that's why it's impacting me. But I even used to play the multiplayer quite a lot for this game. And thinking about how much I enjoyed it, I do actually think that this one does deserve masterpiece category. And this is the OG Last of Us. This game will stick with you if you play it, for like majority of people. It's a fantastic story, and so far in my masterpiece category I have nothing story driven, so I would love to have at least this one in there as an example of something fantastic. Rogue Legacy, I loved Rogue Legacy. Maybe it's like the Super Meat Boy-esque, Binding of Isaac-esque. I loved Rogue Legacy. I played a lot of Rogue Legacy. Dota 2, I never got into Dota 2, so I can only put that as decent for my experience. It's like League of Legends, and yes, I think it was League of Legends, but slightly more skilled at the time, but I never got into it enough. So I can only leave that as a decent rating. I'm sorry, Dota 2 players. It's a very good product overall, however. I do like the way that it's managed. Pikmin 3, I didn't play. I sort of gave up after a little while with Pikmin. Papers, Please, I didn't play. Payday 2, I did play a little bit of, and I think it was a good game overall. Didn't stick with me, which will trigger some people. Saints Row the 4th, I didn't play, I watched. I would love to go back to that one day. BioShock Infinite was a phenomenal game. I wouldn't put it as a masterpiece, but it was close to a masterpiece. BioShock Infinite was a fantastic game. If you've never played BioShock Infinite, 100% it would get my recommendation. It is decent story-wise. It was made so well for its time. The environments were amazing. It will definitely stick out as a good game. Rayman Legends I also really, really enjoyed. Same with Origins, so I'm actually going to leave both of them in there. Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, do I leave this one as a masterpiece? I think Grand Theft Auto games as a whole are absolutely fantastic. And GTA 5 is one of the best games that has ever been released. And that is why people still play it to this day. You know, if you really want to, you can be a degenerate and do the RP stuff. I would never do that. But GTA 5 was fantastic for the multiplayer aspect, for the single player aspect, for all the choices, all the characters. I do think it is a fantastic game. Pokemon X and Y. This is actually where I started to drift from Pokemon a little bit. I'm actually going to pop X and Y in good because from X and Y onwards, I played every single Pokemon game still from day one, every single one of them. But X and Y, they didn't hit me too much. I still did the Pokedex, I still put in like 100 hours in the game. It did not stick with me like Gen 5 did. So, it is what it is. I did watch the Stanley Parable. I'm not going to play the Stanley Parable, however, because I've already seen it. Path of Exile, I did not play. I would one day. Same with the Batman game. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I also really enjoyed Black Flag. Some people really started to hate Assassin's Creed by that point, but like I've got the Black Flag statue behind me as well. I really enjoy Black Flag still. Battlefield 4. I did enjoy Battlefield 4. I'm going to pop that one in good. but it didn't leave as much of an impact as some of the others here. The Zelda game I didn't play, but I would one day. Peggle 2. Peggle, I don't know how you put Peggle on these lists. Can't think of Peggle as a normal game. You know what I mean? It's like Candy Crush. I can't put Candy Crush on the same tier listing as the rest of this. It's like the Peggles and the League of Legends. They should have their own thing going on. Anyway. Donkey Kong Country Freeze, I didn't play. It was very enjoyable to watch. I would watch it if I could. South Park The Stick of Truth, I watched all of this game twice online. Very interesting and very fun. I would probably play it one day. Dark Souls 2, I loved Dark Souls 2 a lot. This is where I really fell in love with Dark Souls. Dark Souls 2 brought me into the Dark Souls games so much. I played the original Dark Souls mainly because my dad bought it and he couldn't even do the first boss, and then I got into the game that way. Dark Souls 2 was fantastic. So I'm leaving that one in incredible. Hearthstone, you know what? My enjoyment of Hearthstone on release, I really enjoyed Hearthstone originally. But again, it's like a League of Legends sort of situation. I have to pop that one into good rather than incredible. Balancing ranked issues, things like that. I think Hearthstone is a very well-made game and put-together game. I've not played it in years now, but when I did play it, I did enjoy it a lot, but not as much as I did some of these other games. Titanfall, I actually never played, but I did play Apex. Diablo 3, I did not play, and I'd be willing to one day. Mario Kart 8, man. Mario Kart 8 is fantastic. Mario Kart 8 is brilliant. But then again, I would say that about any of the Mario Kart games. You can see where I put Double Dash, for instance. I love the Mario Kart series. The Wii Mario Kart was the one that I put the most hours into, doing online world record attempts with dry bones. But I can't call it a masterpiece because it is still just a kart racing game, but it's very, very enjoyable series. Elder Scrolls Online, never played. Watch Dogs, I didn't play. I always wanted to, so I'm going to pop that one there. Shovel Knight, I didn't play very much of, so I'm going to put that one in one that I need to go back to one day. Divinity Original Sin, I always planned to go back and play, and I didn't. Destiny, I never played, and I have no interest in playing. I'm just too far behind now in that space, I think. Shadow of Mordor, I haven't played, and I don't have any interest in playing. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, I haven't played, and I don't really care to go back and play it. Even though I have watched it, but I wouldn't go and play it again. Bayonetta 2, I want to play one day. Sunset Overdrive, I do want to play one day. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I'm not going to go back and play it. Dragon Age Inquisition, I've already played Veilguard. Maybe I'll go back and play Inquisition at one point. Far Cry 4, I never played. I don't think I ever played 4. Maybe that was my issue, that I stopped playing after Far Cry 3 and I just never got around to Far Cry 4, if I remember. I will probably go back to it one day. Geometry Wars Dimensions, where are the rest of them? It needs to go with the rest of the crew. Fantastic. Love me Geometry Wars. Talos Principle, didn't play. City Skylines, I did play, but a very limited amount, so I'm not going to give that a rating. Ori, I always wanted to play, and I never did. I'm going to leave it there. Yakuza 0. Whew. The Yakuza games. I am going to put Yakuza 0 in good because there is a lot of ridiculous cutscening. I really enjoyed my experience with Yakuza 0, but the reason I'm putting it here is because I think putting it any higher does a disservice to Yakuza Infinite Wealth, which is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. It was an incredibly fun game, but I think the later games that we've just had are that, but peak. So I'm going to leave that one there for now. It could probably go into Incredible. It was the game that brought me into the Yakuza series, but I think it's still a very good game overall. I don't know, I'm debating with myself. I did really enjoy it still. You know what, I am actually going to change my mind. I'm going to put it into Incredible overall because it did leave such an impact that I went straight into the series and absolutely loved it. You know what, I feel a little bit better putting it there. I changed my mind. Bloodborne. I never played Bloodborne. Well, I did, but not for very long. But I watched the whole game like 7 times. I adored watching the game. I need to play Bloodborne, but I was waiting for a remake or something to come at some point that we never got. Maybe it's a bit too soon. I think I'm being a bit too needy, but 100% if there's ever a Bloodborne 2 or anything else, I'll be right on it. 100 million %. Mortal Kombat X, I did not play very much of, and I'm just going to put it in there because I don't really have any interest in it. Kerbal, I did want to play, but I never did. The Witcher, I 100% want to play that game very soon, actually. Same with this, Batman. Rocket League I did play. It was okay. But again, it's kind of like League of Legends-esque in terms of how I'd rate it. It's like, how do you put Overwatch on a list like this? And it's about to come up soon. I can't really put it in the same category as some of these other games. It needs its own place. Phantom, I do not have any interest. Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, I'm probably never going to play and I don't have much interest, but it's a nice little art style. Undertale, I did not play it. I watched the whole thing many times, all the different playthroughs and everything. I'm sure I'd give it a good rating if I did play it, but I've already watched it, which kind of defeats the whole point of playing it now. Now that you've, when you know the whole game, you know the whole story. I'm going to put it in games that I might go back to one day, however, in case I ever do. Halo 5, I did not play and I won't go back to. Call of Duty, Black Ops, is that 3? I did not play and I have no interest in going back now. Fallout 4, I didn't play and I might go back and play that one day. Rise of the Tomb Raider, I did play and it was a good game. It was not fantastic. It was not like the best game I've ever played, but it was definitely a good one. I think if you put the money into it, you'd probably still enjoy it to this day. Star Wars Battlefront, I didn't play, and I'm never going to play it. Rainbow Six Siege, I did play, but not enough to give it a rating, and I have no interest. Same with XCOM. Firewatch, I watched the whole thing, but again, I'm not going to play it probably, but I'm going to put it in there in case we ever get a Firewatch 2. I think it would be unfair to put it into one that I hate. Same with Superhot, actually. I need to play Superhot one day. Stardew Valley, I did put a few hundred hours into this game, and I do think that Stardew Valley is an incredible game. I think that Stardew Valley is like Terraria in a sense, but all of the farming, the relationships aspect, it's 100% a very, very well put together game, and they're still updating it to this day. So I think that anyone that hasn't played it definitely should play Stardew Valley. Next up, we have Dark Souls 3, and I did really enjoy Dark Souls 3, but I don't think I enjoyed Dark Souls 3 as much as I did Dark Souls 2, and I don't know why or what caused that. I'm still going to put Dark Souls 3 into Incredible because as a whole, I think the games were fantastic. I did watch a lot of extra content. I replayed the game as well, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I did Dark Souls 2. I don't know. Dark Souls 2 has always stuck with me a little bit more than DS3 did. It is what it is. Stellaris, I never played, but I did plan to. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, I think, is one of the best games that has ever been released. Again, the Uncharted series, I just realized we didn't ever get Uncharted 3. I would have also put that into Masterpiece for the multiplayer aspect. But the Uncharted games, it was a fantastic ending. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is how you finish a series. And you finish it well. I'm not sure if they're ever going to do anything else more with the Uncharted franchise. I would welcome it in a sense, but I also don't want them to ruin what they already had. I was so upset playing that, knowing it was the final game of what was a brilliant, brilliant series. If you've never played Uncharted, you should play. At least start on Uncharted 2, 3, and 4. Uncharted 4 was fantastic. So I've got to put that in my Masterpiece category. I actually can't read what that is, and I don't recognize the character. So for that reason alone, I'm going to put it in the nice category bit, because I can't really judge it. Overwatch, I think, was a good game. I had a lot of fun in Overwatch. I used to play ranked. I think I had like 8 alts by the end. I had multiple GM accounts. I had top 500 accounts. I did love playing hands. I'm sorry to all Overwatch players. That was me. at some point, and then Sigma as well. I did play top 500 Sigma for a while, but again, I can't really judge it properly. But for all the work that I did used to coach people in Overwatch. I did used to play on some semi-teams on Overwatch as well. It had a lot of problems. It still does to this day, especially with Overwatch 2. I wanted to play Overwatch 2 so badly, but I never could stick with it. But when this game released, it was so popular. It did make a big difference, but just because of people being people, players being players, I can't put it any higher than good. Dead by Daylight, I actually never played, and I don't have any interest in the gameplay looping of Dead by Daylight. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of it. I don't have an interest in going into it. Inside, I've never played and probably never will. No Man's Sky, I did play quite a few years after release, because, you know, the whole controversy with No Man's Sky and it wasn't what we were promised. I would say, coming back to the game, I think it was it 3 or 4 years later, it was a fun experience, but it was not as good as a lot of games out there, but it was still a lot of fun, and I would go back to it one day, 100%. Persona 5. Do we have Persona 5 Royal on this list, yes or no? I don't think we do, and so for that reason alone, I'm going to judge this one the same as Persona 5 Royal. This got me, this game, and a lot of people into Persona 5. But I have to be honest that Persona 5 as a whole, and even though I'm going to put this in Incredible, I ended up losing interest when I watched someone else play this game initially. But I came back with Royal, and I played the whole thing, and I did enjoy it. But I prefer the newest games from that series, from these series of games anyway, I should say. So yes, Persona 5 got a lot of people interested into these series of games. I don't think Persona 5 is the best out of them, however, and I really, really want to play Persona 4. Gears of War 4, again, I'm sorry, Gears of War fans, I never played them. Battlefield, I can't remember enough about this game to give it a judgment. I probably will not play it. Civ 6, I did play a little bit, but not enough. So it's not enough for me to give a rating, and for that reason, I'm going to leave this here in the games I would play and probably should play. Titanfall 2, I never played, and I will not be going back. Dishonored 2, I did touch it a little bit while I was somewhere else, like someone else's house, but I can't leave a judgment on that one. Pokemon Sun and Moon. Now, I do think that Sun and Moon as a whole are good games. But this was really when I started to teeter on my interest for Pokemon. Like, I'd play the hell out of them, I'd do the Pokedex, but it didn't leave the same impression that the rest of the games did for me. Sun and Moon was down there for me. Yes, the environment was interesting, but I think the whole 3D upgrade, for whatever reason, it changed something, and it didn't leave the same impression that the Gen 4 games did for me. Now, we've got Final Fantasy 15, which I'm probably going to play at some point. Resident Evil Biohazard, I watched but did not play. Neo! Now, Neo, I always intended to go back to, because, you know, it's like Dark Souls, but not Dark Souls. I want to play Neo one day. If anything, I should probably put this right at the beginning of this list so that I know, yeah, I 100% need to go and play Neo one day. I watched it, but I did not play it. Halo Wars 2, I did not play. I probably will not play it. Hollow Knight, I've actually got that downloaded downstairs, still waiting to be played. So, yep, 100% I am going to play that game, probably in the next couple of weeks. Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, was a very good game. The way everything's made, the environments, it's kind of like Far Cry, the way I think about Horizon, and I am actually going to put that in Incredible. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but it was a very enjoyable game. Breath of the Wild, I need to play Breath of the Wild one day. I just haven't brought myself to doing it after my experience with the old Zelda games. I'm going to leave it there because it's one I need to touch at some point. Nier, I didn't play more than a couple of hours because I'd already watched the whole thing. Another game I need to play. Andromeda, I might play one day just to experience it in the flesh. Enter the Gungeon, I didn't play, and I'm probably not going to. Edith Finch, I was given this recommendation directly by a coworker not too long ago, and I'm definitely going to consider playing it at some point soon, but I have not at this point. Injustice, I am not going to play. Nex Machina, I am not going to play, I'll be honest at this point. Maybe the next one that comes out. Fortnite, I have not played, and I could play it one day, but I say I never played it. I have touched Fortnite before. I've played it on other people's devices, but I never ever wanted to touch it because of the whole online sphere of it. I was sticking with my Paladins and my Overwatch. I was not touching Fortnite at the time. Splatoon 2, I also really want to touch any of the Splatoon games at some point, but I haven't. Dragon Quest. I watched all of this Dragon Quest and I didn't play it, so I need to play that one. Sonic Mania. I do want to play this at some point. Will I? I might not, but there is a plan there. Ark, I also planned to play, but I never did. Destiny 2, I will not play. Divinity Original Sin, I honestly probably won't play it, even though I don't think it's bad from what I've seen, but I just probably won't play it. Total War Warhammer 2, I did play some of this, but not enough to give it a rating. I'm going to pop that here. Cuphead, I watched all of it, and it was a really enjoyable game to watch, but playing it is a different story. But I do need to play it one day. Shadow of War, I'm not going to play. Fractured Butthole, I watched the whole thing, so I'm not going to play it myself, but yeah, I did like the South Park games, watching them at least. Assassin's Creed Origins, I did play, and I think it was a good game. I don't think at this point they were sticking out to me as much as the original Assassin's Creeds were, but I do think it's very, very well made. It's just, for whatever reason, didn't hit me the same way that it used to, you know what I mean? Oh, dearie me, my voice is dying at this point. I've spoken about so many games at this point. My brain is going into hellfire mode. But anyway, coming back, Super Mario Odyssey. I think Odyssey is a brilliant, brilliant game. I think it does deserve a masterpiece, somewhere between incredible and masterpiece, but Odyssey is a brilliant game. It is so well made. It is platforming as good as it probably ever can get in terms of enjoyment, I think. The mechanics, everything about it, it is exactly what you would expect it to be, and it delivers perfectly. So I have played Odyssey quite a few times as well, so I'm going to put it up there. Some people would argue maybe it's not masterpiece level. I think it is brilliant, however. So I'm leaving it there. Wolfenstein, I did not play. I always intended to. I'm going to leave it there. Call of Duty World War II, same thing. Battlefront 2, I am never going to touch that after the controversies with it. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon Pokemon, for the same reasons as before. I didn't really think Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon did anything for me, so I'm going to leave it the same spot as Sun and Moon and X and Y. PUBG. I did play PUBG, and when I played it, it was a broken, buggy mess getting invaded by China. I can't say my experience with PUBG was a positive one. So for that reason alone, I'm leaving it in bad. Yeah, it was really, really popular in China. Yeah, the game as a whole had some interesting mechanics, but my experience when I played it was not a good one. Subnautica, I never played, but I probably will one day, to be honest. It always looks very nice to play, so I'm going to leave it there. Celeste, same thing. I wanted to play Celeste, never got around to it. Monster Hunter, and which one is this? I always forget which name it is. I know that this is the one that I played because I recognize this. It's on my Steam list. I am so sorry. I could not play this game. I dropped this game. It takes a lot for me to drop a game. And for whatever reason, it didn't stick with me. I could not force myself to log in and play it again. So you'll see that some of these games on this list, I know that fundamentally they are very well-made games. But they just didn't hit it. They just didn't stick with me for whatever reason. So yeah, even though the category says bad, it basically just means I dropped it and I couldn't bring myself to keep playing it, is what happened. Rust is actually similar, but I don't think I gave Rust enough of a chance. So I'm actually going to put this in a game I might play again at some point. Into the Breach, I'll be honest, I'm not going to play it. Warhammer Vermintide, I'm not going to play it. Sea of Thieves, I did watch a lot of. I'm not going to play it, and I never did. Yakuza 6. Now, I think that Yakuza 6 was still very, very good, but I don't think it was incredible. I'm going to leave it there. I think the other games deserve the top spots. Now, base God of War, the first God of War, was fantastic. It was one of the best games that has ever been released, easily. If you've not played this God of War, you should. And God of War 2, yeah, you should probably play that as well. Unravel, I did hear a lot of good things about it, but I never played it. I'm going to leave that one in here. Octopath, I always wanted to go back and play, but I never did. Same with Dead Cells. I nearly bought that the other day, actually. Overcooked, I did watch a lot of it, but I'm not going to play it. Guacamelee 2, I'm not going to play it. This is the first Spider-Man. I didn't play it, and I'm not going to play it because of my experience with Spider-Man 2. Astrobot Rescue Mission. Astrobot, this is VR? This is the VR one, if I'm not mistaken. I never played it, and I'm probably not going to play it for that reason. Forza Horizon 4, I'm not going to play it, but I do know it's a good game overall. Odyssey, I actually did enjoy Odyssey. I don't think it was incredible, but it was still a very, very good experience. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, sorry. I didn't play. I'm going to pop that here. Soul Calibur 6, I did intend to play at one point. Red Dead Redemption 2 is... I don't know if it's my favourite game ever, but it is a game that you should play before you die. If you're going to play video games, you need to play Red Dead Redemption 2. Arthur Morgan is one of the, I would say, best characters any series has ever had. So, yeah, 100% you should play Red Dead Redemption 2 if you have not already. Tetris Effect, you know what? Tetris Effect was actually really decent. I loved Tetris Effect. Tetris Effect deserves some love. It was like the classic. It's something so basic, but they just made it that little bit better. 100% if you've ever played Tetris and enjoyed it, you should play Tetris Effect. Among Us, I have absolutely zero interest in Among Us. I will never play it. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think, is genuinely the top tier of fighting games that has ever been released. It's quite dated now in terms of year, if I remember, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I enjoyed the hell out of. I can't say I spent quite as long in the multiplayer as I did in Brawl. I think that was mainly a timing thing. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I don't know how they can improve from there. I'm sure there's a way, but I don't know how they would do it. 100% that deserves one of the best spots ever. 100%. Slay the Spire, I did not play. I watched a hell of a lot of it, but I might go back and play it one day. This Kingdom Hearts, I don't think I did touch. I do intend to go back. Apex Legends. Apex Legends was such a disappointment. It was, I played this day one, minute one of it becoming, like, getting released. I played the hell out of Bloodhound. I played a lot of this game on release. But it was such a buggy mess. The sound was broken, the drops were poor. Every time you try and drop, it would lag. This game had so much potential to be the go-to game for me every single day of my life, and I think they fumbled it hard. I loved it on day one, I loved it on week 1, I loved it on week 3. By week 4, the bugs really got to me. And when it was week 4, I remember I was putting out forum posts about Apex Legends saying, these bugs need to be fixed, this is destroying this game. And people were like, oh, they're gonna fix these bugs, don't worry. It took them like 4 years. I quit and they still hadn't fixed it. Like, literally, they've only just recently fixed some of the bugs now. That's how long ago it was. When was Apex Legends released? It was years ago. Ah, oh, Apex is such a disappointment. Seriously. I think because of my general experience with Apex, I'm going to leave it in good. Again, it's hard to judge it, same way that I would with Overwatch and other games, because it needs its own multiplayer listing for this. So I guess I'll put these two together. Devil May Cry 5, I actually played recently, and I can't put it as an incredible game because it was quite short. And it didn't really have too much spunk to it as I was expecting. I'm going to put it as good because I still enjoyed the game overall. But I really enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the character designs a lot. But it wasn't as exciting for me as DMC. You know, the PlayStation DMC that most people said they hated. I actually kind of preferred that one. So I'm leaving that one here. The Division, I didn't play. I might go back one day. Beat Saber, I did play, and I have a really big problem with Beat Saber because I get incredibly sick when I play Beat Saber and other VR games. It's like car sickness, and it makes them unplayable. So that being said, can I really put it as anything? I have to put it in terrible because it literally makes me ill. That being said, it is a really good rhythm game. It is a really good one. So yeah, this looks like a bait post, but can I genuinely put a game any higher if it literally makes me feel ill? You know, it's not fair. I wouldn't like go on a website and give Beat Saber a 0 out of 10, but because I literally feel like I'm going to throw up. In fact, I think I did after playing it once. I can't put it any higher. And I know that a way to avoid that with VR games is play more of them and take certain precautions, but just like with car sickness, I'd rather not feel ill. So I have to put a game that literally makes me sick into the terrible category. What else would be more deserving? You know? But it doesn't mean I dislike Beat Saber. I enjoy watching Beat Saber, and playing it in theory, yeah, it's great, but I can't put a good rating on something that makes me literally ill. Sekiro. I think Sekiro is one of the most enjoyable mechanics-wise games I have ever played in my life. Now, I don't think Sekiro is perfect. It definitely has, you know, difficulty problems for some people, but I think that for gameplay-wise, it pushes people to their limits, and no other game to this day has brought the same enjoyment on a gameplay level that Sekiro brings. Sekiro is its own category of game. And for that reason, and how much I enjoyed it, I did get a lot of anger out of it, but I have to put it that high. I absolutely adored the gameplay and getting good at Sekiro. Those boss fights, when you finally pull them off, are fantastic. Mortal Kombat 11, I did not play. I'm gonna put this one into one I might play one day, genuinely, because I'm undecided. Teamfight Tactics, I did play, but not enough, so I'm also going to pop that there. Fire Emblem, I did want to play, so that's also going there. Dicey Dungeons, I did not know that this existed. I should probably look it up. I don't know what that is. World of Warcraft Classic. Again, I'm going to pop World of Warcraft Classic into good. But I'm probably not going to play it again. I tried not too long ago, and I played on a new account, and that was it. I was sort of done. So it is what it is. Control, I didn't play. It looked fun, but I've not played it. Maybe one day. Astral Chain, I did want to play. Gears of War 5, I do want to play. Borderlands 3. I'm sorry, but I really still enjoyed Borderlands 3. I love the Borderlands games. I'm sorry to people that hate Borderlands and the changes that happened to it, but I really, really love Borderlands. I am a glazer. I am. I admit. It's my fault. Disco Elysium, I probably will play one day. Outer Worlds, you know, the people that say, Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds, which one is which? I did want to play Outer Worlds, but I never did. Luigi's Mansion 3, I did want to play and I never did. Superliminal, I do not plan on playing. Age of Empires, Age of Kings, I probably won't play. Pokemon Sword and Shield. I was really getting to the end of my Pokemon tether with Sword and Shield. The raiding was horrible. They did improve it a little bit in the latest gen, but I was really starting to wane in my interest in Pokemon in Sword and Shield era. These are still good games, if not, could be incredible games, but this era of Pokemon was... it was my least favorite, by far. And Sword and Shield had still great Pokemon, which is the reason why it still gets a good rating. I still did all the Pokedex instantly, all of that. But that was more of a like, almost like a sunk cost fallacy, but also just because I love the creatures themselves. You know, like, I'm so invested in Pokemon and the whole thing that I just sort of played them. But it was not as exciting as the old generations were. That changed in the latest generation, believe it or not. So if we see Gen 9, you're going to see a really big change in what I'm going to say. But Jedi Fallen Order, I actually nearly played that recently, but I haven't. So I'm going to pop this here. Now, Yakuza Like a Dragon. This was very different to Yakuza 0 in some ways, but then also very similar in terms of the humor. Yakuza Like a Dragon is an incredible game. Yakuza Infinite Wealth is even better. Yakuza Like a Dragon, I would recommend to anyone. Yakuza Infinite Wealth, I think everyone should play at least once. But to play Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, you've got to play Like a Dragon first, really, to get the full experience. I think you have to play Like a Dragon first and then play Infinite Wealth. I mean, you could play Infinite Wealth on its own, but I think you need a little bit of backstory to get the full context out of Infinite Wealth, so that's why Like a Dragon is one step behind. Dreams? I actually don't know what Dreams is. I've never even heard of it before. I'm going to pop that here. Ori, I do intend to play. Like I said, for the previous version. Animal Crossing. I did play this during lockdown like a lot of people did, and it was a very good game, but it didn't keep my interest for very long. Doom Eternal, I need to play. I've wanted to play for so long. Half-Life Alyx, also I want to play. Runeterra, I have not played. I'm going to pop it here as well. Streets of Rage 4, I also want to put here. Deep Rock Galactica, I'm probably never going to play, to be honest. Minecraft Dungeons, I was going to play and I never did, and now I'm going to wait for a new version of the game. Valheim, I'm not going to play. Last of Us Part 2, I watched all of it and I am not going to play it. Do I think that all the controversy surrounding it was warranted? Yes and no. I think the problem was people loved the original Last of Us so much that it would have been so difficult to make a Last of Us Part 2, and it was so hit or miss with people. I'm probably never going to play it, simply because I watched the whole thing already. But yeah, I have mixed opinions on The Last of Us Part 2. Maybe one day I will play it, but I don't have any plans to at this point in time, so I'm going to leave it there. Fall Guys, I am not going to play. It is not my cup of tea. Factorio, also not my cup of tea. Crusader Kings, I might play that one day, to be fair. Heard a lot of things about it. Spelunky 2, I've also never played, and I would definitely be willing to play it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I didn't play, and I do want to play it. Spider-Man, Miles Morales. This is also going to trigger people, but Miles Morales, I tried to play this game 4 times. It was like Infamous, but worse. Which, speaking of which, where the hell is Infamous? I've not come across Infamous yet. If you want a good superhero game that is like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, but better, just play the Infamous games. Maybe it won't hit the same anymore because the Infamous games, I think they were the sort of games that maybe they're slightly dated now, but when you played them at the time of release, Infamous was so good. And you were able to make yourself into the evil villain or the good guy. You had all these story choices. I just felt every minute I was playing Spider-Man Miles Morales that I wanted to be playing Infamous instead. I did drop the game. I think overall it's well built. The city looks really interesting, but I could not do it. I tried so many times with this game. I could not bring myself to play it. There's another game that I was waiting to come across that has not appeared yet that I would also be putting here, which would trigger many people, and it's Death Stranding. I don't know where it is. Maybe they've just not put this in this list, but I did not play that game for very long. I tried for a few hours, but same issue. I couldn't keep going. I did not enjoy those games at all. Cyberpunk. I wanted to play this game, but oh, it's such a buggy mess on release. I might play it one day if they bring certain updates, or maybe a new version of Cyberpunk, but I never got around to this one. And Valheim, again, same thing. It Takes Two, I was going to play this, but again, this is very much like couch co-op-esque, so you have to have another person that's going to play it with you. Hades, I think, is phenomenal. Hades is a fantastic game, and Hades 2, we've got early access now. I've intentionally gone out of my way not to do Hades early access because I want to play Hades 2 full version on release. And it has the potential to be an absolutely amazing game. So I'm going to leave that one there. I'm really looking forward to Hades 2 final release. So there is that. Psychonauts 2, again, I never touched, so I'm going to leave that one here. Deathloop, I never touched, and I might do one day. Metroid Dread. You know, I wanted to play Metroid Dread, but I have a bad experience with Metroid games now. I'm going to put it there still, that I might play it in future. But hey, same with Forza Horizon 5. Halo Infinite. This game annoyed me a lot. Now, I played a lot of Halo Infinite. I did the Legendary All Scrolls on, I did all the achievements on release, I did Legendary mode straight away. The game was so short. The game was so buggy. The game was like a game from the early 2000s that had been remade in a new skin and didn't work properly. So even though I played the hell out of this game on release because I really wanted to give Halo games another try after ignoring them for so many years, I can't say that it was a good experience. I think it was really depressing. I guess the most that I could put for Halo Infinite was decent, but then all the multiplayer issues on top, because I did play a lot of the multiplayer, got accused of cheating, the community was horrific. I can only put it as decent, if not bad. There was a lot that I wanted out of this game that people promised, and I didn't get it. So Halo Infinite was really, really disappointing for me. And again, I did everything, all the legendary modes, all the lasso stuff. It was not great. It was okay, at best. Monster Hunter Rise, I am not going to give this one an opinion review either, for the same reasons as the other Monster Hunters. Pokemon Legends Arceus was fantastic. But the problem that we have with Pokemon Legends Arceus and some of the other Pokemon games these days is they look like ass. And that's being generous. It's the same with, you know, the Persona 5 games, Metaphor. They would, compared to some of the other games out there, they look terrible. And yes, how a game looks doesn't determine how good it is. Hence why I'm still putting this as an incredible game. Legends Arceus brought me back into 3D Pokemon, and I adored this game. I played it before release. I played it again on release immediately after, and I enjoyed both playthroughs tremendously. But it looks like balls. So I can't put it as a masterpiece. Gameplay-wise, I loved it. When we've got games like Uncharted 4, God of War, Final Fantasy, and then you look at how Legends Arceus looks, it looks like dog. So it cannot get any higher than that purely for that reason. And yeah, sometimes there are frame drops. Sometimes things don't work properly. It's so good. It's so good, but it's not there as the top of the charts yet. Total War Warhammer. I'm going to put this one as one that I might play at some point. Horizon, this is the second one. I did play it, and I really enjoyed it, but not as much as some of the other incredible games up there, so I'm going to leave that one in good. Elden Ring. I'm still going to put this one as one of the best games I've ever played. That is despite the fact that, yes, the combat has problems. It has a lot of problems, but the way the worlds are built, the open world aspect, everything is absolutely brilliant in Elden Ring. I played this game on release. I played it like 7 times. I hated my first playthrough against certain bosses. But overall, I could not pull myself away from the game. Elden Ring is a game that everyone should try and play at least once. And even if you hate Elden Ring, you'll probably still keep playing it for a lot of people, unless you just get completely filtered on a certain boss. But just go and level up, come back, and you'll be able to beat it eventually, if you're that bad at the game. But it's definitely one of the pinnacles of gaming, I would say, in recent memory. Kirby, I did want to play this Kirby, I never got around to it. I'm going to pop this, another one that I should play. Same with Xenoblade, I did plan on playing it and never did. Immortality, I have no idea what that is. No idea. Splatoon 3, I need to play. I'm going to pop that one there as well. Monkey Island, I'm probably not going to play, being honest. Grounded, I'm probably not going to play. Overwatch 2, I did play. And I stopped playing very quickly. This game didn't need to exist. What they needed to do was keep improving the original Overwatch. I cannot give this a good rating because of what they did. Everything about the whole Overwatch 2, they promised all those story modes. I wanted Overwatch 2 so bad to be the story modes that they promised, and they did not deliver. They basically made Overwatch, gave it a fake upgrade, and then sold it to people, and it was the exact same thing, but slightly worse. So because they basically left Overwatch itself in the dust and just brought out Overwatch 2 as like a meme, I would never give that a good rating for that reason. And I just couldn't ever bring myself back after all of that happening. So yeah, it turned me off Overwatch completely when they released Overwatch 2. Because I used to come back and play Overwatch every like year or so. But then the Overwatch 2 stuff happened. I did play quite a few hours of it, and I completely lost interest, and I never went back. So I think that says enough. I would say overall I did have a worse time because of that than I even did in Spider-Man. So it is what it is. Vampire Survivors I probably won't play, to be honest. Bayonetta 3, yes, I want to play Bayonetta very badly. I need to. God of War Ragnarok. Would I still put it as high as the other God of War? I don't know. Would I? It was a very well-made game. Very interesting story. I don't think it was my masterpiece, but it is very, very, very good. It is a very, very, very good game, and if you played the first God of War, you should definitely play the second one. But again, going from the old God of Wars to the first God of War, not God of War Ragnarok, oh my god, it was worlds of difference. So you'll see that some of these games I put in here are, it's like you go from one game, and then the difference between that one and the next game that gets released, worlds apart. And that is what that God of War first one of the new gen God of War was for me. God of War Ragnarok was a phenomenal game, but it didn't have the same impact that the first God of War did for me. So that is why I'm doing this. That is why I'm placing it in this way. Now, we have Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And like I mentioned before, I've been putting all of the Pokemon games up to Sword and Shield in like the good category. Scarlet and Violet, I adore. I love all of the Gen 9 Pokemon. I do love the open world aspect. But just like Legends Arceus, it looks like arse. They need to do something about how this game runs. They need to fix rating. Rating is still not good. Rating is buggy. Rating is a mess. Yes, it's still fun, but it is buggy fun. And it's not enjoyable buggy fun. I know that's a weird statement to make. If you've ever done the rating in that game, I'm sure you understand what I mean. But they need to fix those problems before I'll dare put it as a masterpiece. If we get Pokemon Legends Z and it's Arceus and it looks exactly the same, I'm going to be disappointed. If it looks like more similar to an Uncharted 4-esque, that would be fantastic. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's what we would need for me to put it on a a higher rating, to be honest. Anyway, let's move on. Chained Echoes, I'm not going to play this. I don't know what it is. Hi-Fi Rush, I almost played recently, and I do want to play it a lot. Hogwarts Legacy, I thought I would dislike a lot because I was sick of Harry Potter for so many years. I actually really enjoyed this game. Despite all the social media stuff that was going on, all of the fake woke accusations and everything, I think Hogwarts Legacy was a really good game. And if you're someone that doesn't play all that many video games, Hogwarts Legacy is a fantastic entry game for people. It's not perfect. It is not as complicated as some other games out there, but it made someone that doesn't really like Harry Potter actually like the game. And the flying mechanics and everything, I think, were quite amazing. And more games should do that. So I think it's definitely worth a play, even if you don't like Harry Potter, to be honest. Octopath, I do want to play that one day. Same with Jedi Survivor. I nearly downloaded it the other day, but the PC port is apparently arse because it doesn't run very well. I'm not sure about anymore, but that is on my to-do list 100%. Same with this Zelda. I need to play it. I do. Street Fighter, I do want to play, but I have not yet. Diablo 4. I'm probably not going to play it. Yeah, I'm probably not going to. Jack and Jean, I actually don't know what that is. I'm probably not going to play that. I'm actually playing Final Fantasy 16 as we speak. I can't really give it a rating while I'm in the middle of playing it, so I'm going to put it here in games I'd like to play, but I am in the middle of it as we speak right now. It's not as interesting as I thought it would be so far, but maybe I've been too distracted. I don't know. But it looks very good. We'll see how I feel by the end. Okay, now, these are the games that I've put in here myself that weren't originally on this listing, so these might look a little bit out of place, but these are my recent games that I've been playing. And so, for instance, we've got Armored Core Fires of Rubicon. I never played any of the Armored Core games, and they're very linear, very short games. I really enjoyed the mechanics of this game while also despising them. That being said, I'm going to put Fires of Rubicon in good, but I think everyone should try it. So although I'm not going to put it in the same category as some of these amazing games, I think it's a game everyone should at least try once, which is the reason why I've included it here. Monster Hunter Stories 2, I played 75 hours of this game in 1 week. I did not stop playing this game for 2.5 days. I was awake. My eyes were dying. I could not put Monster Hunter Stories 2 down. I fell in love with this game, and it inspired me to start playing the Monster Hunter games, which was maybe the worst thing I've ever done in my life because it made me realize I hate the regular Monster Hunter games, which is very disappointing. I've not played the one that's currently in the early access. I might do, but Monster Hunter Stories 2 was where my heart lies. Monster Hunter Stories 2 is like Pokemon, but with monsties. I could not put that game down. I definitely think that if you like collecting games, you need to play Monster Hunter Stories 2. If they have a Monster Hunter Stories 3, I'm going to play the hell out of it. I don't think it was a masterpiece, and again, it kind of looks like arse. Not as bad as the Pokemon games look right now, but it still doesn't look fantastic. But very, very cute creatures, so that's why I get that there. Now, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I can't put this as a masterpiece because it is basically just a remake of the old game, but again, it's an absolutely fantastic game. And I think that if you like any horror, or even if you don't like horror, if you just like shooting games, you should play Resident Evil 4. I wanted to get all achievements in this, do everything in this game when the remake came out. You should definitely give Resident Evil 4 a try. Code Vein. Now, I did try and play Code Vein again. I've not finished it as of yet, but I have, I think, played enough of it to know that I think this game is quite good overall. It is basically anime Dark Souls, and I think it is worse than Elden Ring, but it's still an enjoyable experience, and I really love the character creator a lot. I I want to fully finish this game by the end. So this one I am giving a preemptive rating, which I haven't done for any of the others, but I think it's worth playing still. And I will finish it very soon. Veilguard. Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now, this had a lot of online controversy recently surrounding it. I'm gonna put this game into good. I would love to put this game into incredible, but it does have some particular characters. And the problem with the Dragon Age Veilguard is the first 10 hours. The first 10 hours, I was so confused. I have no idea what was happening. I was sort of lost, and I was going to put the game down. The combat alone kept me playing this game, and then after the 10-hour mark, I fell in love with this game. I fell in love with this game, not particular characters. There were certain characters I went out of my way to make them angry, piss them off, make them hardened, which is the hardened state in that game. Basically means that you, like, annoy them enough and make them traumatized, I guess. It has some fantastic quality of life features, and certain characters, certain stories are brilliant. But it is let down by some very questionable storytelling and, I guess, yeah, the politics side, you can say a lot about it. But I think everyone should play the game still. It is like Mass Effect, in New Age. Mass Effect with so many good quality of life features. And I'm thinking Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3. I think if you want a good overall gaming experience that's about 60 hours long, 100% achievements, which is how long it took me, you should play Veilguard and at least see if you can get through the first 10 hours. If you can't get through the first 10 hours, well, it is what it is. But after that first 10 hours mark, this game gets really quite good. The ending of Veilguard, the whole ending sequence, if you've ever played Mass Effect 2 and 3, I'm mainly thinking 3, you will enjoy that a lot. But anyway, I'm actually not going to do Metaphor yet. The first one I'm going to do before Metaphor is Sonic X Shadow Generations. I'm really, really disappointed in this game. Because yes, I think Sonic X Shadow Generations as a whole is made well, and the cutscenes, the shadow portion is interesting. The game is 3 hours long. They sold Sonic X Shadow Generations as a full-priced game, and you can finish the entire shadow portion, which was the reason why you'd buy it, in 3 hours. There is no excuse for that in this day and age. A 3-hour-long game that you're charging full price for? Yes, the levels that I did play were decent, but it was like playing Sonic Generations, but just with Shadow, and a little bit better, which is not good enough to be selling me when we have some games on here like Dragon Age Veilguard, Metaphor, that are 60 plus hours, 90 plus hours. And yes, timing alone, total play time, doesn't mean that the experience wasn't a decent one. But 3 hours isn't enough not to put a game at full price. If they'd have sold that to me at $5, I would have been fine. But considering we can get the Binding of Isaac and you can get 1,000 hours out of that game for like, what, £5? And they're charging like £55 for a 3-hour long game? Absolutely not. I'm so disappointed that more of the reviews for that game didn't point this out. But Sonic X Shadow Generations, I cannot recommend to people while it is as short as it is and as bare bones as it is. It felt like this didn't need to be a release. It felt like an excuse for a release between the Sonic movies, and I'm really disappointed with it. And that is as someone that has been playing Sonic games since day one. Speaking of which, why are there no Sonic games here? We've gone through all of this for like, how long now? And there is not a single Sonic game in this listing until this one, apart from Sonic Adventure 2. Quite disappointing, really, because we've had so many Sonic games and it would have been interesting to talk about those, but anyway, this is this listing, it is what it is. Okay, so next one we've got is Metaphor. And you know what? I want to put Metaphor as a masterpiece so badly. It is a game, it's basically a racist game, where you'll go the whole game and your main character has to deal with racism. It's basically all of the Persona games, but better. all of the Persona games, but take away the annoying high school setting and put it into a real environment, like a Final Fantasy environment. I really, really enjoyed Metaphor, but it looks like piss. I almost didn't play Metaphor because of how bad the actual 3D modeling looks in this game. And yes, I know it's just Persona in general now. The drawings of the characters that you'll see whenever that text box has come up look great. But, we have had games like Uncharted 4 released so many years ago, and Metaphor still looks like how it does. Like, even if it looked a little bit more like Yakuza Like a Dragon, I'd give it more of a pass, but it's garish. It's really outdated. They need to update how the game looks if they want me to give it my 10 out of 10. I can't. It does have problems there, but I think everyone should play Metaphor at least once. You don't even need to play Persona games. You don't need any backstory for Metaphor. Just play Metaphor. It is worth it. It's like 100 hours long, and then if you want to do all achievements, it might take you 150 hours. It is a fantastic game, but it might take some time to get used to how the 3D models look, because they do look bad. So, it is what it is. Now, one of my favorite games I have ever played in my life is Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I've seen some people give this like an 8 out of 10, but I think Infinite Wealth is like all of the fun of gaming put into one game. You've got the Sujimon collecting, which is basically Pokemon in Yakuza, and you have to do like 3-on-3 battles. You've got an island maker, which I think was a lot of fun. I did all of the side quests in this game before I finished the main story, and I normally don't do that in video games, but Infinite Wealth was such an enjoyable experience that I wanted 100% of it done by the end. I actually did the same in Veilguard, but I feel like Infinite Wealth, for what it is, the backstories of the characters and everything, the story is not perfect, but it is good enough for me to put it in this realm of my favorite games of all time. If you're gonna play a game similar that's a turn-based combat game, you need to play Yakuza Infinite Wealth. But you gotta play like Dragon first. So that's like 200 hours of gameplay maybe that you might have there, or maybe like 150 hours. There's a lot of time investment, but absolutely worth it. Now, we've got 2 more games. The first one I'm going to do here is going to be Palworld. Oh my god, Palworld. I played the hell out of I was addicted to Palworld. Do I think that Palworld as a whole is the best built product? No. I ran into a lot of bugs. But for the enjoyment aspect of Palworld alone, it's been a long time since I have been that invested in a video game. I think that alone, just wanting to get all of the powers, 100% everything, I'm so upset that I've played Palworld before, because I'll never be able to play Palworld from the beginning again. So, in terms of the impact that Palworld had, I wish I could go back, erase my memory, and play this game from day one again. But that's not going to happen. But it is buggy. It does have its problems. But it is Pokemon, but with more of an FPS sort of style to it. Definitely, I think is worth playing, or at least trying to see if it sticks with you or not. And then the final one that we've got here is Persona 3 Reload. And I'm going to also put this as incredible because I think, despite it being the generic high school Persona setting still, this was the old version of the game, but remade, and it is really good. It's not as good as Metaphor, but the social aspects and the dating aspects you can actually get out of Persona 3 Reload, which there are none in Metaphor. But Persona 3 Reload is like a 90-hour game, I think, is what it took for me to do the main story and a little bit of post-game replaying. It is very, very good. But it still looks quite bad because it's got the same issue as Metaphor. The 3D modeling and everything is outdated. It does not look very good. Very, very intricate world and everything like that. And it is slightly different to Metaphor in a few ways. If you've never played a Persona game, you can play Persona 3 Reload and get a good experience out of it, but not quite good enough to put it in the top spots of gaming. Sorry, that was long. That was very long. Sorry, I'm just having a very quick look through this listing from top to bottom. Yes, some people will fight me on the Pokemon placements. Yes, some people are going to fight me on the Grand Theft Auto placement, for instance. But these games, all of them here, if I could put Star Fox Adventures here too, and that would be a personal bias pick, yes, I would put it there, because I adored that game. Another game that wasn't mentioned here was Lilac Wars, which I would put probably in the good category because it's a very basic game. There are a lot of games still missing from all of this, despite how many games you see here. And I guess the grand takeaway from all of this is everyone has very different opinions on gameplay that they enjoy. Same with anything in life, but games are very individual. And some games are so close to being the best versions of themselves, but they're massively let down in another way. That's what Apex was to me, for instance. But I think Sekiro is very hit or miss for people, for instance, but when it hits, it hits. The other games, generally, if you were a fan of the series or games like them, I think you will have a good experience every single time. Now, the incredible games that I've got here, we have a big range of games. And there is a big range of games from like basic Crash Bandicoot. Like, can you really give basic Crash Bandicoot an incredible rating? Yes, because I think fundamentally it was just good. So some of these games are going to be 100+ hour long games. Others are like 6 hours long. But some of these games are also very old, and some of these games are also very new. So there is a massive range of games here. I would say some of the main ones out of here that I would suggest would be Metaphor, Power World, Persona 3 Reload, Resident Evil 4, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Legends Arceus, God of War. Pokemon Snap 2, I would also put here if it was here, to be honest. But if you've not played some of these older games, definitely give them a try if you've ever considered them. I think every single one of these games is a game worth playing. Definitely. F-Zero GX, such a classic. Resident Evil 6, yeah, I'm sorry. I loved it. If you've got someone next to you to play it with them. Then these good games, these are still very good, some of these. Not quite good enough to put in the other category, but like Yakuza 6 was still very good. Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins, very good. Fires of Rubicon, Armored Core will be hit or miss. WarioWare, Smooth Moves, and Wii Sports are just really fun. Very basic, but very fun. Guitar Hero you should play if you've never played it before. I wish that we had more like Osu, more rhythm games, like the Osus, Donkey Kongos, but the only one that we really had here was Guitar Hero and Hi-Fi Rush, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, but I would put those quite high as well if I could. But yeah, Original Medal of Honor, I really enjoyed at the time. I probably wouldn't now. So some of these are definitely, I'm trying to remember how they felt to me at the time. So some of these are a little bit outdated, but still good overall. And since these are supposed to be the top 500+ listings of games ever, most of these will sit in the good category or above. And yeah, then we get into the decent, which they're okay. They're okay. Nothing much to say about them. The bad ratings will trigger a lot of people, but I have very specific reasons for them. I did play them. I tried to play a lot of them, and I couldn't. These are games that I actively dropped. So games that I tried to give a good try to, and I could not. And some cases, either it pulled me off of the series entirely, or in the case of Demon's Souls and Oblivion and Morrowind, was the fact that I'd already played Skyrim, and then I went back. That was the problem. If I'd have started on Morrowind and Oblivion, and then played Skyrim, I think I would have enjoyed them. But I can't enjoy them when I've already played them, but better. And I think that was also the problem with Demon's Souls, because I played Dark Souls, went back to Demon's Souls, and I was like, yeah, I'd rather just play Dark Souls again. And then Monster Hunter was, it just didn't feel right. I gave my reasons for Sonic X Shadow, just, it's far too short for the price that they're charging. I can't recommend it. And then Overwatch 2, they didn't need to make it, and Beat Saber makes me feel ill. So it's not the fact I dislike Beat Saber, but I can't play again that makes me feel sick. So it is what it is. And then this is my list of games I have not played but plan to. There's a lot. And I think that's the good thing. There are so many games out there, so many that you could play and you've probably not played. And I think that some of these are some that I definitely should. Like, I'm currently playing Final Fantasy. Cyberpunk, I think I probably should have played. Jedi Survivor, I think, is my kind of game. I think I will really enjoy it. But maybe I should play it on my PlayStation, not on Steam. Ori, I think I would really enjoy it as well. Cuphead, I would have enjoyed if I'd have played it, but I watched it. So a few of these, I've already watched them and I won't go back to them. But that's for them. And then the other one being games I haven't played and I won't be playing is if I've already seen all of it and I don't feel a need to go and play it, I'm going to put it here. Or if I just have no interest, like Empire Total War, I'll be honest, I've no interest there. Like Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, why would I do that when I could just play Resident Evil 4 Remake? You know, if there's been another game in the series that I could just play instead that I know is probably better, I'll just play that instead. But yeah, some of these, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh saying I will never play them, but I just don't see a lot of reason to at this point in time. Sorry, Destiny fans. Anyway, I guess that is my complete roundup of all of this. I've been playing games since I was literally 0 years old, so there's a lot of games that I could recommend or talk a lot about, but there's also a lot that I haven't played yet, so there's a lot that I am yet to experience. But if you're someone that hasn't played too many games or any of these games, you should definitely play some of them. Like people that only play mobile games, for instance, play some of these because they are infinitely better. Even some of these games down here in decent or even bad, I would say are better than mobile games. So like, move on from mobile gaming. And then there's also stuff like Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, and that wasn't mentioned in this listing. I do think they're good games, and I think you should play them. But the gameplay loop fell off for me because they're just gacha loot box, mobile-esque games. But anyway, if you've ever wanted a specific opinion on any of these and you've never heard someone that's actually played them before, let me know. But I do love these games at the top, and I could probably talk about them for hours. I wasted far too much time in some of them, and I should probably not get back on that bandwagon because real life does matter. And Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, for instance, will pull me away forever.